responding to what Cam said.
Oh,
That was my...
okay.
I was saying it's sarcastic.
Word that I want to hear right before we go on air to do a game that I'm running.
No, I meant my disaster. Hold on a second.
Okay, because I'm going to go get some sage and burn it and just like waft it around here to get rid of that bad mojo. Are we on?
Just say, if I was that much
Oh,
of a
we're
douchebag,
live.
I wouldn't.
Of course we are.
Of course we are. Hello, I'm your nervous DM. Actually, not DM. I'm an SM right now, which is Space Master, but I decided that I like it to be MST, Master of Space-Time.
I understand.
That's what I am. I'm Master of Space-Time, right? And when you think about it, aren't all GMs and DMs really Masters of Space-Time? Really? They control the flow of time, like, whatever. I'm the Master of Space-Time. And we're here to play Impulse Drive, which I learned 4 days ago. And it's actually the kind of system that I actually felt like I could learn in 4 days and still have it be a substantive system. So I'm excited about that. And our normal The Gods We Know crew is here. Yay! And we have a guest. Cam is here to join us. Hi, Cam. Yay!
Hola.
And let me see. So like I didn't actually come up with like cool bits for our sponsors the way that Adam does, but I was thinking about it as we were coming on, and I was imagining, I have no idea why, like an asteroid belt that is just made up of Skull Splitter D20 dice.
That's cool.
Right? It would look awesome. It would look so cool. So just imagine that and how cool that is. And that's how cool Skull Splitter dice are. And then I was thinking about like long haul space trips, space journeys, space drives, whatever. Space trips. Long haul space trips, and probably lots of coffee gets drunk, and probably people are pretty unhappy if they don't have good coffee. So really smart captains definitely make sure that they have found familiar coffee in their spaceships so that people don't space rebel against their space captains. Also, you just get brownie points for randomly putting space in front of any word that you use during this game.
I love it.
Yay.
I'm going to
All right.
station with my space gun.
Yes. That actually, by the way, like you can, like I told you, like feel free to use whatever term so long as I know what you're using for your equipment. Be creative. It's cool. This is actually like one of the things about this system that I really like is it's much more collaborative. A lot of times if you're going to do this kind of system, and just for time's sake, we didn't do this, but we would name the ship together. We would create something about the ship together on stream. We would talk about sort of the connections between players and decide what they are on stream. For time's sake, we didn't, but I'm going to give us an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about that stuff. Let me review what our schedule is going to be on Featherfall first, though. Tomorrow, y'all are going to have to help me. Yawning Portal, Dead in Thay, T-H-A-Y. Okay.
Yeah.
That's on at 6:30. Tomorrow, 6:30 Pacific, the time zone that matters. And
True.
it's
All right.
true. It's
9:30
true.
real actual time that properly exists.
And then Burning Wheel is a system that we're going to play a game in on Friday, and I'm going to be a player in that one, actually. That's my reward for learning this system in 4 days and then master of space timing it. Friday at 6. That's going to be run by Matthew from Vanish X Zone. And then we really get a special treat because the developer, I think PJ Harrington is his name, is going to run something in his system, the Guns of Santorina, which is like a Western sort of thing. Ooh. And that's on at 6. And I think it's like a lot of regulars are coming to play, so I'll be playing in that one too. I got lucky this week. So yeah, that's our schedule, and then we will return to The Gods We Know next week. So if you're like, I don't understand, where is my super airheaded Genasi girl? She's busy being a master of space-time this week, and we'll be back next week. All right.
I'm so mad about that cliffhanger.
I know. Extra painful now. Extra painful.
Why?
Well, the good thing about one-shots, y'all, is unless I really mess up the timing, there aren't any cliffhangers. No cliffhangers. All right. I'm going to give just a little background on this world. So this is a solar system, not a solar system containing Earth. It's somewhere in a solar system in a galaxy far, far away. And this is a place where long, long ago, we think that humans came and populated and drove out some other alien species because they've left behind a bunch of mysterious structures with lots of objects. They look like they might be able to do nifty cool things, but no one can figure out the nifty coolness that needs to happen to make them do nifty cool things. So they're just objects now. Really, really beautiful structures. Frustrating architects who can't reproduce them. About 7 years ago, so this galaxy used to be, this system used to be ruled by an intergalactic council that was kind of strict, pretty structured, kind of hardcore, and trying to keep the cultures that it took over very uniform to get rid of any cultural differences and make everybody be the same. And also they were doing a bunch of experiments with taking human consciousness and putting it in androids and putting robot pieces into people against people's will. Folks didn't like that very much, so they rebelled successfully. So 7 years ago, the rebellion started. 5 years ago, they won. But they didn't think ahead about the idea that if they won, they were going to actually then also need to rule the solar system. So they didn't set up one unified government, and now everything's fragmented, and some planets have their own, and some planets have multiple ones, and nobody's really running the space in between. And in fact, now there's a new threat from outside the solar system. There are artificial intelligence androids who have been making incursions on the boundaries of the solar system. And the people who are going out there to help are really like mercenaries and pirates and marauders who are like, no, but we don't want a lot of humans killed. There are some other alien races sort of interspersed throughout the solar system, living pretty peacefully, but most of us are human here. And let's see, I think that's what we have. Y'all are the crew of the memory. Why don't we go around and you tell me your character's name, something that the crew would know about your character, and if you have like one hook, which is like a predetermined sort of relationship with one of the other characters. This crew's been together for a number of years, so we'll start with Utah.
I am playing Utah, or Joni Utah, which she is a mystic. She's a part of the Children of Dawn order. She's kind of like an enforcer. She'll go and kind of bring people who've, I don't want to say escaped, but have left the order who might need to come back. And she has a pretty sweet mystical weapon, which is, I don't know if y'all know, like those chain whips or like the rope dart. It's basically a chain with like a blade at the end.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and
I love her and she doesn't love me.
let's see, and I guess I should tell my one PC hook?
Yeah.
Okay, Pulsar. She believes that Pulsar is a soulless killer that threatens the safety of this crew, and they need to see that.
Alrighty. Let's go to Pulsar on that note.
Yes, I am playing Pulsar using the Hound archetype. Kind of, yeah, offish, distant, doesn't really enjoy interacting with people, but managed to get wound up on the crew anyway, due to the captain of said crew. Pulsar's hook also fits in quite well with Utah's. Utah got in the way of one of Pulsar's bounties, and so his eyes are very fixated and making sure that that doesn't happen again. And then, yeah, he's kind of a little edgy, big old like white coat that furls on down, big kind of collar that comes up, and is usually seen wearing a mask while on duty. That's Pulsar.
What kind of mask?
It's kind of porcelain. So it's like old school porcelain, kind of sits across from the very top to the very bottom, and it's just kind of plain with a
Like super creepy
miniature. Yeah, like soulless, like no expression, super creepy. There's a couple of like carvings and that's about it. So yeah, like super offish.
Alrighty. Let's go to Harrison.
So I am playing a fellow named Harrison Barkov using the Warhorse archetype. He's a former military. He had fought on the side of the government there, and towards the end of the war, rebelled and left the military, and has been with the captain ever since.
In fact, the first member of the captain's crew.
The very first member of the captain's crew. I met the captain on a planet where civilians were being executed, and this wasn't good. And then you want a hook as well? Like the one with the player character?
Mhm.
Yeah? Okay. Harrison will protect Avery from anything, even themselves. I've melted coal.
All right. On that note, let's go to Avery while Cole is still dying.
I will be playing Avery, an AI alien. I have a metallic body, and I sort of resemble what humans used to call angels. My hook is that I do not appreciate that Utah does not trust me. I will have to show them to respect me.
Alrighty. And Rook, you are last.
Yeah, so that's probably because I know my stuff the least. So yeah, I'm playing Roger Rook Derringer. I'm playing the intellect role. So I have a background in some pretty heavy engineering. I'm like growing up in a technical background, kind of teaching myself the ways and basically trying to make a name for myself, knowing as much as I can, just without a proper education. But machines are my thing. We'll get into that probably a little bit more, so we won't get into too much more detail. What else? So one of my hooks is, I didn't get one properly set with PC, so let's pick one of the other ones. So I hold close a secret that could destroy us all. We'll protect it at any cost.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, I should add that Avery is the second in command on the ship. And let me tell you a little bit about the captain. The captain is Captain Ash Orista. Early 50s, mid 50s fella, pretty salt and pepper hair, worn and grizzled face, fought in the rebellion, and lost his family in the rebellion. His husband, his son, his daughter survived for a little while, but not forever. Died a couple of months after the last attacks. And was so popular in the rebellion that he was ready to become like a big leader on his planet. He just couldn't take it anymore. He was too heartbroken. So he bought himself a ship and found himself a crew, and has been ever since taking contracts throughout the galaxy, mostly the solar system, with all of y'all at his side. And today you are in orbit around a planet called Thalari. See, I'm like using the ones that we wrote down, but I'm changing letters so it's original. So you're in orbit around Thalari. And by the way, this isn't just my first time running this. This is everyone's first time playing it too. So you're in orbit around that planet. This is a really beautiful planet. It's got a lot of blue water, a lot of really lush green, more landmass than what we're used to on Earth. And it's got a fairly large city, one of the main cities on the planet. And Captain Ash has gone down to the city in order to negotiate a contract, leaving the rest of you up on the ship for a day or so while he's doing that negotiation. What would you be doing while you're on the ship for a couple of days? What's something your character would do?
I'd just be doing my rounds around the ship, making sure everything's functioning properly, doing my, just operational checks, make sure all the systems are go for whatever traveling we got coming up.
Alrighty.
I would be seconding that. Also scanning the ship as well as the area around the ship, making sure that we are safe and that there is no impending attacks.
Next.
Harrison would be sitting there making sure his gear was in good working order, stripping weapons down, building them back up, constantly drinking. He's functioning, but it's there.
There's like a whole supply closet for each.
Yeah,
each
he's got it.
drive. Yeah.
He got his weapons, alcohol.
Got it. Who's next?
The two priorities.
Utah should be in the garden, kind of tending to, like, pruning things up and making sure the light's right and the pH balance of the soil's good, and just making sure all those systems are up and running, are up and, still working properly. And then probably on the side, she would have like a little terminal where she's just kind of looking into who she's currently after.
All right. And let's do Pulsar.
Pulsar would be mostly cleaning his weapons, a few more ritualistic type prayers, and checking whatever online bulletin or bounty board there would be, and just keeping an eye on whether anything interesting pops up during the time there.
All right.
About it.
Let's, if you want to roll your special move, Pulsar, to find bounties, you can. Utah, you can roll that, or you can, Avery, roll a scope it out. And Utah, is there a special move for you to find? I think there is, yeah?
I don't think so. It would maybe be scope it out, but...
And do scope it out. Let's do scope it out.
That is an 8.
I
An
also rolled an 8.
All right. So you, Avery, get to ask one of the following questions. You don't need an escape route, so probably don't ask that one. What should I be on the lookout for would be a relevant one. Who or what here is not what they seem? Who's really in control here? Who or what here could be a useful opportunity?
I would like to know what to be on the lookout for.
You should be on the lookout for ships,
Other ships?
other ships.
Intriguing.
Yes.
Noted.
Pulsar, you also got an 8.
Yes,
And I believe that means that you have a lead on a single bounty.
I do.
Yes. You have word that there is an infamous rebel that might be somewhere in the area. His name is Tyrander. Hey, I made up a name. His name is Tyrander. And he's like mid-level in the rebellion. The remnant of the rebellion is in fact called the Remnant. So he's in mid-level in the Remnant and has carried out a couple of things, couple of hits against civilian targets in recent years. Utah, you had an 8 as well?
No, I had a 6. I think there's
Okay.
she's got some root rot in some of the beans that she's a little more focused on.
Yeah.
Than...
Yeah. She's really distracted right now. All right. So you get, those of you who might be in the command center of the ship, you hear the chirpy little bell sound that is indicating that someone's trying to contact you on the comm link. Who answers?
Probably me.
Right. The screen lights up with the face of Captain Ash. He's in some kind of really well-appointed office. You see little glass sculptures on a shelf in the back. You see a really nice wooden desk, which, like wooden furniture, is pretty rare at this point and very, very well valued. And he's standing in front of a comm link mounted on the wall. There's a woman behind him, sort of minding her own business. It's probably the contact that he's working with, and there's an open door to a hallway. And he starts going over with you, Avery, just like a list of supplies that he's managed to procure. You're down to, your supplies are a little bit low. Like you're specifically down to only a few tactical packs, which is a problem if you end up in any kind of firefight. So he's working on getting those supplies. He's talking about how he's negotiating a contract. He thinks that there's something really big and important that you could do that would really get you a lot of money. And as he's talking, you hear sounds coming from the hallway. You hear shouts. You hear something that sounds like laser fire. He runs to the hallway. He looks out into the hallway and runs back to the comm link. What are you all doing? Who's there in the command center to see this? Not Utah.
I won't be.
Utah's dealing with rotted roots. Yeah.
There's an oldie.
Yeah. All right. So the two of you see this. And he comes to the screen and he starts furiously typing something under the screen. And you can see his face is just completely pale. It's just gone completely pale. You're starting to hear the sound of explosions come from out in the hallway.
Captain, should we come down and assist?
Don't come anywhere near here. Don't come anywhere near here. I need you. Keep her safe and get there quickly. And you see something blink on the screen, which is a coordinate in space. And as that blinks on the screen, and as he says, keep her safe and get there quickly, a ball of flame comes through that door, shoots at him, and the link is severed. And all of you in the ship start to feel like a rocking. The energy waves are coming up off of the Earth. Physicists, don't tell me if that's a real thing. I don't care, Cam. You can feel like that there's some major explosion or impact actually happening on the planet. And those of you who are actually in a comm center or near a window see that there is a massive smoke and ball of fire on the planet, big enough for you to see from orbit. You see escape ships trying to leave the area and falling very quickly out of space. You see one escape ship seem to break the atmosphere. What do you do?
Avery, get us out of here.
Of course. That makes the most sense. And I slowly and almost oddly sadly, is that the word? Mournfully type in the coordinates I committed to memory. And
right before you press that button, your scope it out result allows you to notice a ship starting to flicker out of stealth mode. And you see in front of you, your ship, by the way, is pretty nice. Captain Ash was doing pretty okay for himself when he got his pretty sleek. It's got a lot of space. This one, not so much. This is clearly a ship that was used in the war, that's seen a lot of wear and tear. Very typical of what the terrorist ships look like, because most of them are still using their equipment from the war. And you see that come out of stealth and shoot off in one direction. And you see the ship it's like an emergency transport ship that came up from the surface. You see that start to struggle in the atmosphere going off in the other direction. And at this point, all of you have felt the shaking in the ship. What do the rest of you do?
I'm going to go ahead and jump up from my room and head straight up to the bridge and find out what's going on.
I'm down below in like the engine rooms and stuff, just like I'm doing my rounds, making sure like everything's still good after it wasn't like we took a blow or, or under attack or anything's damaged, and then I'll head back up if everything seems good.
Awesome. By the way, you all have communication devices. It's not a little button on your shirt that you can touch. I like the fold-outy ones. You have the fold-outy communication devices. All right. What about you, Utah?
Yeah, she would probably about the same as Rook. Make sure nothing's fallen out, but I mean, it's space travel, so everything's pretty secure in there. And she just kind of starts grabbing her gear. I'm just like, all right, and heads up.
And there's no sign of damage to the ship that either of you find. It doesn't appear that anything has been aimed at the ship.
I kind of throw a message to Harrison, say, I'm on my way up. Everything seems good down below.
Copy. Get up here as soon as you can.
So Pulsar, you end up in the command center of the ship. And this is right before Avery has pressed the button. Avery, you see those two ships. Do you still press the button?
The escape ship that came up, it's struggling, and a ship is going after it.
The terrorist ship is trying to get away. The escape ship is trying to just go in the opposite direction, and you can see that it's obviously been damaged. But no, the terrorist ship is trying to book it.
Harrison, before I hit this and take us to these coordinates, should we assist that ship?
Captain gave us our orders. Captain's no longer here. You're in charge.
You see, like where her eyes would be, there's like a back and forth scanning as she's like quickly processing data. She hits the button.
All right.
Takes up to the coordinates.
All right. You feel the slow acceleration of the ship, and then very, very quickly, there's a booming feeling that you're all very familiar with. And that booming feeling is the feeling of going into the fastest speed that you can put the ship in. There's not really like a hyperdrive in the same way where you can just go zip, zip, and you're in another place. But you can go pretty dang fast when you're in this mode. Still, yes, you were going to say, Doug.
Just as they're about to kick out of the system, Harrison will look towards the planet and just rest easy, old friend. And bow his head.
Utah will get on the comms, like, a little warning next time if we're just going to jump. We're just walking in the hallways. Fell flat on my ass. Thank you.
You're on your way, and it actually still takes several weeks for you to get to the planet that you were sent to. This one is like pretty far out there. It's about as far out into the solar system as you can get. What do you do for those weeks?
Would there have been like recording, like footage of the planet, like anything that would have been recorded that we could, like Harrison could just be watching for? See,
Oh,
like
for sure. There are news reports that are on about this massive terrorist attack that blew out most of the city. There is information about there being some survivors, but not many, and the survivors were not in great condition. There was one ship that broke free and it crashed farther away in like a really remote area, so nobody really knows if they've survived yet. They haven't gotten to them. It's fairly well determined that this is a remnant attack. Nobody knows why they chose this particular target.
A remnant attack?
Yeah, the remnants are the terrorists.
from the years in the military, would I recognize the ship at all or no?
The terrorist ship?
Yeah.
It's pretty standard for the ships that the rebels would have used, like pretty inexpensive ships. This was probably the people who were coordinating the attack, like probably the people involved in the attack were down in the city and went with everybody else. So these were probably the bosses.
I think the first thing Avery would do would be to make sure that the captain's quarters remain cleaned and exactly as the captain left it. After that, they would be very focused on making sure that everything goes according to plan.
As you're cleaning the captain's quarters, anything in particular that you're doing or looking at or going toward?
We think
Working on it.
working on it.
Yeah.
I think they would be very particular about making sure it looks exactly the way that he left it. Like if the bed is unmade, like the sheets are staying that way. Like nothing. I think if there were any like hollow photos or anything that like he had left, like if he left like a mug of tea that morning or something, I feel like she would be drawn to like those things.
Okay. You notice a couple of things. One is you notice something on a shelf that you hadn't really noticed before. Maybe this is something that he recently acquired. Maybe he pulled it out of somewhere. It's a glass sculpture. It's a number of different tendrils of glass that are woven together in almost kind of like a teepee shape, but very intricately tied at the top. And when you see it, I want you to roll Alien, please.
I have a 2 in Alien. Do I add that to
Yeah.
my roll?
You add that to your roll.
11.
Okay. With that roll, I'm going to say that you see that and you know that it's not just for display. And you get this. So Alien, so y'all know, it connects you to something called the abyss, sort of the power of the emptiness and the darkness of space, the mystical energy that and the awe that we all feel when we're out in space, you know, like all of us have been. Right?
You haven't done
Hashtag relatable.
Yeah. And when I have you roll Alien, that's a little bit like that. Anything kind of unusual or mysterious or related to something kind of otherworldly or outside of your experience. You get this big feeling in your chest. Not only that this is a usable thing, this isn't just a statue, but that it's used for something that makes you feel both optimistic and frightened. You have that response. And you have a feeling, like a memory of being in this office and sitting in a chair near this glass object and having a conversation. But you don't remember what the conversation was. You just know that you were there and you were talking to the captain in words that don't feel like yours.
Scanning. Processing.
And actually, Utah, I'm going to have you make a roll Alien as well.
Rolling. I believe that is a 9.
With that roll, right before the ship went into its, I don't know what to call it, highest speed, it's not hyperdrive, whatever. Right before that boom that moved it fast, that fast boomy thing.
Yeah.
You had a moment of just feeling that vastness, and it felt like some kind of reaction to what had just happened on the planet's surface. that the abyss took notice.
Okay.
Other folks, what do you do? And conversations are okay to have. You can role play conversations if you want that you have during this trip too. What else do you do during this trip?
I'm going to be doing a bunch more research, and I'm actually probably going to try and like spend some time with Avery and kind of understand routines and mannerisms and stuff of what her life is like on the ship and how she's acting, just for my own knowledge.
Okay. What are you specifically interested in finding out?
Things like, because she's so related to the ship, I guess, that if she's got like some sort of logical emotional attachment, and if there's any sort of, you know, human mannerisms and emotions that are kind of developing and how that's occurring.
Mm-hmm. So that would definitely be a move that's covered by your field of expertise. So you could use expert in order to be able to find something out about Avery as you're observing them.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense because it's spending, well, we got weeks, you said, so how does that work?
Let's see. When you make a move that's covered, I'm going to have you do a scope it out move. So roll plus calculating.
Roll
That's
high.
8.
An 8. Okay. You can ask me a question that relates to your expertise, and I will answer that question. Or if you prefer, you can ask Avery a question about what you observe.
For my expertise, let me see.
And you
Where
have
am I-
expertise in AI.
Yeah. So is there a list of questions, like set questions, or just whatever?
No, just whatever.
Okay. Good. What's the question? I'd ask Avery. I like in one of the things, like as we're like walking around, I'm kind of watching her. I'm assuming I catch her like checking the room at some point, and I'm gonna actually just ask her to try and see how she reacts. Is, you know, how well did you know the old captain, and, you know, were you his friend? Like,
Of course.
you seem to have a pretty in-depth attachment. Is that something he programmed you to do, or?
Oh, the captain never programmed me. He treated me like anyone else. I received...
When they say that, both of you, and this is the answer to your role, feel like that's not the whole truth. And Avery, you weren't intending to lie, but you know when you say that it wasn't the whole truth, and you don't understand why.
Cool. That's interesting.
I don't... Oh, okay. The
Yeah,
captain... We were close to the captain. I don't fully understand if it's the same as what you feel.
That's understandable. I imagine you feel like that's honest, and I don't know. Maybe somebody put it there. Maybe you developed it, but it's a curious trait from an AI like yourself, and it's intriguing.
How did you feel about the captain?
We had our times and got along well, and really well, and I'd go to the ends of the earth and back for that guy. Some days felt like I had to, and we got into some risky business, but I miss him as much as you do, it seems.
Miss him. Yes.
It's good to see you keeping his shit in order still. He'd appreciate that.
I hope so. If
And-
you'll excuse me. She'll give like a bow and kind of take off.
And I don't know if we're doing this in the captain's quarters. If she's taking off and leaving me in the room, I want to do like a once over and see if there's any, if by chance he happened to leave any sort of notes or documentation regarding Avery at all.
Go ahead and do scope it out. So roll plus calculating.
Captain. Ramen.
That's 9.
9. With that, you can determine that, first of all, you also notice that glass object. You don't know what it is, what it's for. Hasn't been there before. And you see some tools in the back of the room that you're familiar with, that you have an idea that he was working on something.
Cool. I won't touch anything because I know Avery's going to notice, and I let myself out and just kind of did a look around and excuse myself.
All right. Utah, how are you doing with Avery in charge?
Utah's been kind of keeping her distance from Avery and just, I guess, that end of the ship in general. I think she's kind of been spending a lot more time, or trying to spend a lot more time with, like, Pulsar and Harrison. And she kind of realizes that, like, her job is kind of similar to Pulsar's bounty hunting. But, yeah, for the most part, she's just avoiding Avery. And if they come across each other, like, the interactions are super awkward, because it'll be like they're going down the hallway and they both keep going to the same side.
Oh no!
She'll just grab Avery and move her to the one side, or move them to one side. Just like, okay, that was fun.
What does Avery do? Just keep going?
You know what Cole would do? Cole would shove her! No, kidding. Yeah, I feel like Avery would just keep quiet. Not really say anything.
Pulsar, you flew away from a bounty. How's that sitting with you?
Not well. The first thing that Pulsar would do, beyond anything, Avery has looked through the captain's quarters and made sure that it's neat and everything. And at some point during this journey, Pulsar would go in, just take a once look around, leave, and actually pull the manual release and seal the bedroom shut.
Okay.
The captain's
He
quarters?
would then, he would just go ahead and seal it shut. He'd then go ahead, head back to his room, take a look at the rifle that was given to him by the captain. Just kind of stare at it for a second. And with a small knife, just carve in Ashbringer into the rifle itself.
Ooh.
And apart from that, also would be attempting to keep track of this bounty so that he could go back and claim it, but beyond anything right now, he's realized that he's now 100% kind of stuck in this scenario and will attempt to avoid people as much as possible.
Okay. And probably now there are a number of hunters on the tail of that one ship. This was one of your oldest friends. How is Harrison doing?
Harrison's tending to keep to himself a little bit during this time. He's spending a lot of time on the bridge, just watching the videos, like the replays of what's happened over and over and over again. Not saying much to anyone, trying to support Avery as best as he can, and it's like you said, it's his oldest friend at this point, and just doesn't know what to do. First time without the captain's been gone, so.
Yeah, none of you have been on a mission without the captain in this ship. Anything specific you're trying to glean from the news? Did I already ask that? I don't think I did.
I'm just trying to see if I can get a name of the ship or anything like that, or just some sort of clue for a person I can go after and murder.
Okay. Roll, just roll plus calculating.
All right. It's a 4.
You know, it's too emotional. And if anything, because there are a lot of very graphic images that they're showing on this, and you have seen scenes like this before. So it just replays those scenes for you over in your mind, and you lose any information that they're actually giving. in the news reports. All right.
Yeah.
After a week or so,
Would
sorry.
I think at some point, I feel like Avery's kind of tuned into the ship and would kind of know but not know like what Harrison's watching, and I'd probably take a minute to go where Harrison is watching these videos, and I think they would approach Harrison,
Captain.
and the screen flickers off. I'm sorry, it is difficult to convey. I think that the videos are distressing you.
I'll be fine, Captain.
Are you sure?
I'll do what I need to do.
That is not an answer. I know that you are a capable soldier and a capable crewmate. I am asking about your emotional well-being.
Harrison kind of cocks his head quizzically, not used to discussing these sorts of things. And
Whatever you say here is confidential and will not be shared. If that helps.
I'll be all right, Avery.
All right. If you wish to talk to someone, you know where to find me. And for
Thank
what
you.
it's worth, I'm sorry.
Bow his head for a moment. And thank you, Captain.
Turn and walk back to my charging station? Where the hell do I stay?
I don't actually think that you have to charge and recharge.
No, I don't think so. I think
don't
it's...
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I think you're good up in the command center. You may even just stay there awake all the time because you don't need to sleep. All right.
Constantly aware and always watching.
When you begin to slow down, when you go as fast as you go, there's really not actually a ton of stars to fly past. Like, it's a lot of dark, but you can tell when you start to slow down because a tiny little speck that was getting bigger and bigger and bigger starts to get bigger more slowly and more slowly and more slowly, and eventually resolves itself into a very different kind of planet than the one that you left. This is a planet called Arda. Planet Arda. I used your list, Cam. This is a planet called Arda, and it's mostly. There are some places with like what looks like maybe freshwater lakes and some green around it. There's a few kind of small, sad-looking, probably oceans, but Arda is just dry. It's really, really dry. It looks like it would be dry and cold. It has an atmosphere, but it looks like it's dry and cold. And it actually has it's close enough that it gets heat from the sun, but it looks cold and dry. And as you come out, as you slow down, what are you all doing when you get into orbit around this planet? You have a specific location in space and a specific location on the planet, by the way. What do you do as you get into orbit around the planet?
I think I would remind the crew that the captain had said to protect her and to keep her safe. Does anyone know what that might mean?
Sounds like to me we gotta go down and find out who this her is. Unless any of you know anything I don't. I think we gotta go looking around.
Hold on a character question.
Yes.
The captain was getting more supplies. How are
Yes.
we on supplies?
You had enough food to do this journey. You're okay, but you have 3 sets of tactical packs, so that's like 9 uses. And that's the main one. Like, a lot of those supplies are low. That's the only one that's going to impact you for the purpose of the one shot, because I can't be bothered to track food.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought tactical. Oh, tactical. Okay, got it.
Those are, for our purposes for this one shot, those are first aid packs. You have 3 first aid kits that can be used 3 times.
Gotcha. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have not actually heard the captain refer to anything as she on the ship. It's not his general practice, for instance, to call the memory she.
I
Seems
think
like we're taking a field trip.
yeah, we gotta get down there, see what we find, I guess.
Keep your wits about you.
As you enter orbit and approach the location, really as the location that you're going to go to approaches you, you notice that you have company. You notice a ship very different than what most of you have seen before. It is very, very not aerodynamic, which it doesn't really need to be anyway. It's mostly round with like a few offshoots for propulsion. Avery, you've seen this. You've been in one of these ships. You've been in one of these ships for most of your existence. And you can tell that it's there and it's scanning the surface.
Would I recognize what class or style or type of ship this would be with my background?
I'll let you roll for it. Roll plus, what is it called? Calculating.
All right, let's see how this goes. 6.
You haven't seen anything like this before.
And Avery, I'm assuming, is dead-faced, AI-'d, like...
Yeah, like head cocked and like blinking lights.
I like the dog head cocked, like, what?
Yeah, pretty
I'm
much.
thinking Data. That's all I can think of is
One-eared
Data. It's so good.
Seeing this thing, can Utah look into the abyss to try to figure out
Yes.
something?
Roll plus alien. So look into the abyss is a move where you sort of connect yourself to those mystical energies in the universe to try to get some insight. And it's dangerous because those mystical energies might look back at you and get insight into you instead.
Okay.
What did you roll?
That is a 7.
Okay. I'll get to that one so that I make sure that I do this one right because I really want to do this one right. Okay. On a 7 to 9, you can ask and it will answer, and I love this phrase here, but it is hungry. It wants one of your answers too. So I will tell you the list of questions and you can choose which one you want to answer.
Okay.
Do you want to answer first or ask first?
I'll answer first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll ask first.
Okay. What are you asking of the abyss?
I want to know what this thing is. I think she's got an idea, but...
My enemy.
Okay.
Okay, here are your choices. What terrifies your character to the core? For what does your character's darkest heart desire? What was your character's lowest moment? For what does your character crave forgiveness and from whom? What are your character's secret pains? In what way is your character's mind and soul vulnerable? What faint hope does your character cling to? This is like the perfect thing for a psychologist. Perfect.
I was gonna say, can I get that question list though?
The abyss is really a therapist. That's what the abyss is.
Oh, man.
Face your trauma.
There's a couple. It's just which one do I want to do? I mean, everyone around me isn't hearing these answers, right? It's just the abysses. Okay.
Right. You are faced with these answers. Not everybody hears. The abyss knows, and it's present in your mind and in your body for a while.
Okay. I think for Utah, like what would terrify her to her core would be that she has followed this order for her whole life, and if it didn't pan out, if it wasn't the right choice. I mean, not like she really had a choice, but yeah, I think that would terrify her if it wasn't the right thing that she should be doing with her entire life.
You feel the acknowledgement that the abyss has taken that in and fed upon the emotion that is behind that. All right. So, Avery, you recognize the ship.
We have been on that ship, or one of those ships. I have not seen one in a very long time.
Do
What are you
remember
talking
did on that ship? What was its purpose? Do you recall?
Sending you a message.
Oh no! Oh, I hate it.
Oh no.
I'm so scared.
Like, Utah will look to the rest of the crew. She's like, I think you all know my job, right? I have a feeling that ship is kind of coming here to do what I do.
It is a scout ship. It is a collective scout ship. Gracious master of space-time.
You roll with advantage your next roll. No, I'm kidding.
Can I tell if it is infected?
I'll let you scope it out. So roll plus calculating.
Okay. Hang on, where's my... I rolled a 9.
All right. So you can ask one of these questions, and the one I think you're really asking is who's really in control here, right? There are scouts that have been sent on a mission and don't appear to be acting against what the collective might want. And like the vestiges of connection to the collective that you have don't sense any kind of disapproval or anger about them. You do, however, notice, and all of you notice this, that their scans have stopped and they appear to be scanning the memory now.
Getting an itchy trigger figure on these guys. What do you think? Shall I go man the lasers?
I think we should just give him the microwave over here and be done with it.
Say the word.
Nope. You watch your tongue, Utah.
Come on, these guys can't be up to any good.
I am not sure. We are not sure. Fuck! I'll get it right by the end of the one shot. We are not sure. Can I open a comlink?
You can attempt to hail them, yes. What do you say?
This is the captain speaking. Please state your purpose.
You don't actually hear a response. And now that you've spoken to them, you recall AI to AI, they don't even speak. They just send, right? So in your mind, you get the awareness of you there, a little bit of shock at such an anomaly. Infected is the term that you hear. And they turn and you can tell that they are aiming their lasers at you.
Rook, please man the lasers. They are getting ready to fire. Everyone, positions.
Who does what?
What did we take for the ship again?
You have lasers. It's in the thing that I sent you, by the way, all the Predator stuff. You have lasers which can give you any distance, and I can't remember what the other one was. Shields, right?
I believe so.
Yep, shielding.
Oh, fantastic. I'm gonna immediately put up those bad boys.
Put up the shields. Okay. Who's in charge of monitoring the shields? Who's in charge of flying? Who's in charge of shooting? And the other two of you, how will you help the crew as they engage in this bout?
Sorry, was that me included? I missed.
Yeah.
I'd like, if it's going to be a combat, I want to go and man the lasers. That's my deal. So I'm just as good with that as I am with a wrench.
Rook went for the guns. Boom. Who's piloting?
That's right. I'm on it.
I think we would be plugged into the ship.
So you're piloting. Okay.
I would be one with the ship.
Who's keeping the shields going?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. And really, in general, like this other systems in the ship, if they were to get hit, you would be someone who would be working on fixing them.
Actually, now let me rethink that. So
Yeah.
I'm just looking at specs. What are you, because combat is volatile, so are you looking good in that?
I've got I put a 0 in volatile.
Okay.
I put a 2 in stalwart, though.
So you're probably better off with the lasers, and I'm probably better looking after and maintaining the
That's
shields.
what I was kind of thinking.
I mean,
Swap
it
'em.
depends on what distance you're at, what you roll. So
I
it
also
depends.
have a +1 in volatile.
So we're metagaming now. Now we're giving each other our stats.
We're learning the system.
Yeah.
Harrison and Pulsar spend all their time polishing their weapons.
I'll
So
go and
you
take
have
care of
a
the
sense
shields.
that they like to shoot things, and you're a technician. So
I'll go take care of the shields.
does that mean Harrison is on the guns?
There.
Okay. Pulsar and Utah, what do you do to help out?
Pulsar will
Be
sort out
creative about
targeting
this.
Data.
Huh?
So Pulsar will sort out targeting data, so using these sensors to calibrate the guns towards making sure that every shot that can hits.
So what that means is that Harrison, you're going to roll with advantage so long as Pulsar is helping you. And Utah, what do you do?
I guess if there's some sort of like secondary flying mechanism, I think should maybe have
Jaeger
on that.
pilots with the frenemies.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's from Pacific Rim. You have to like mind meld and like you work the machine
Yeah.
together.
Everything
Yeah,
in
I don't know
tandem.
if I could hop on like thrusters or something. I mean, they have that in.
I love
rigs.
it. They don't even like each other.
I will say that Avery is able to do more like controlling direction, and you're more able to control thrusters, so speed. So for piloting Avery, you'd roll with advantage as well. All right. So you are there's 3 ranges for when you're in ship-to-ship combat. There's broadside, which is you are right next to each other. That's like, Pirates of the Caribbean, when you like go through the 2 ships and they're shooting at each other? That's broadside. There's engaged, which is sort of a middle distance, and you have to be doing a lot of piloting in order to get to where it's a little more dogfighty. And then there's cannonading, which is from a distance. And right now you're at cannonading range. You're far enough that you really, and the lasers are versatile. They can engage at any of those distances. You're safe from other weapons, a lot of other weapons at this point. And also you can't do as much maneuvering. Do you stay in place and shoot? Do you try to be evasive? Or do you get closer?
I'm waiting on Avery's orders.
I think shoot him. That's what I think.
All right.
Pew pew.
So roll plus volatile. Oh, wait. You're from a distance. You can say, I'll say roll plus, what's it called? Calculate?
Calculating.
Calculating. Roll that one.
And I have advantage?
Yes. Yes, you have advantage because Pulsar is helping you.
That is a 13. I rolled
Okay.
2 6s and a 1.
Damn, that's gonna be awesome.
Wow. Okay. So you get to choose 3 of the following options. All right. First of all, you do 1 harm. So you do 1 harm. Everybody has 5 harm, and so does every ship. So like you do 1 damage immediately to the ship,
Okay.
which originally is going to be superficial damage. Just the first harm is superficial. But you can choose one of the following. You can either deal double the harm, but then you'll have to wait a turn before you shoot again because you have to recharge. Take evasive action, but then you suffer a harm for doing it. Hold a position or halt in advance, so you can keep them from getting any closer to you because of the way that you shot them. You can make an advance or force your enemy out of cover. They're not in cover. So you can get closer without any immediate penalty. Impress, dismay, or frighten the enemy so that they suffer a stress doesn't really... I don't think ships suffer stress, so don't worry about that. Or disengage. Like if you want to fly away, you can do it. Those are your 2 options.
Am I choosing this?
Well, you choose the harm, and if you want to just choose to do double harm, choose that. If you want to say, let's just get the hell out of here, that's valid too. You're in charge of choosing. You're in charge of choosing.
Choose your own destiny.
All right, one more time. Can you run through this? This is so bad.
You can do double harm.
Okay.
You can keep them from getting closer.
Okay.
Right, and therefore using more powerful weapons against you.
Right.
Or you can get the hell away.
I'm gonna stop them in their tracks.
Okay. Yeah. So the way that you aimed, you were able to get their guiding system just enough that they're, for at least a little while, not going to be able to advance on you.
Right.
All right. Yes. So Avery, your holding position. How about I have you do roll plus stalwart to keep in position as the energy, as the jolt from the lasers, I don't know if they jolt, physicists don't tell me, moves the ship.
Cam, no.
We're gonna go off stream. He's gonna poke holes through everything. It's just...
I rolled a 7.
Oh, I've been
You rolled a
enjoying
7?
this.
Okay. So you rolled basically a keep your cool, which is just how to remain steady under pressure. When you roll a 7, you were able to keep the ship stable. You didn't really get off, like the targeting system didn't get shaken up, but you will have disadvantage, which cancels out as just a regular roll the next time you roll. Did you roll with advantage?
I did not.
Oh, roll another d6 and
Nope, it was lower.
okay.
Of course it
All right.
was.
So your next roll will be a normal roll. Any move that Rook, Utah, or Pulsar want to make.
I'm still just gonna keep on with this, with assisting with the targeting and just keep the advantage on the weapons.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the systems, make sure everything's, par for the course so far. We haven't taken any damage. Everything looks good.
Once you take damage, and if you take damage, that'll be more of a thing. Okay.
Yeah, I think if we're kind of staying in the general area, but like, she'll mostly
Jordy-
just kind of rib Avery, like, hey, you plugged in? Come on, keep us steady here.
Just so you know, the way that hooks work generally, if you're in a campaign, is that you get experience points, or there's a system for eventually getting experience points by acting according to your hook. So that would be one of those moments where we'd say, like, you acted according to your hook. All right, even if it gives you disadvantage for doing it. All right, they're going to take a shot at you as well with their lasers. All right, and they do succeed, so you take 1 harm.
That's
So
weird.
laser shoots out from their ship and does a harm right back at you. It's now your turn again, Harrison, if you want to shoot.
I'm gonna shoot him again. 'Cause screw you, butt munches. And I add what to it? Calculating?
Calculating, yeah.
9.
9. Okay.
9.
So you're able to do a harm, but nothing more than just 1 harm. So it's looking like now they've got some more than superficial damage. It's not right now affecting their targeting or their movement, but you can tell, like, 1 more hit and they're going to start being somewhat disabled. 2 more hits and they're going to be almost dysfunctional, and 3 more hits, they're going to crash. Okay. All right. They are going to take another hit too against you, and they miss. So they try to shoot a laser, but, like, the damage that they've gotten is enough that, like, their targeting system is just a little bit off and it goes right over the hull. Your turn.
Shoot again?
Seeing that
Yeah,
everything's super
Avery,
chill
make
down
a roll.
below,
Yeah.
can I,
Avery,
like, push
Oh, am I
extra power
rolling?
to the guns?
yes, you can make a roll to do that. Make a roll plus calculating to push extra power to the guns. I like that.
That is a 11.
11. Okay, yeah. The next shot can do 2 harm. Avery, why don't you roll to keep the ship where it needs to be?
Just a regular roll?
Yeah.
Regular roll. Regular roll.
Hold on tight to the next one, Harrison.
That is a 9.
Okay, ship is steady. Harrison, you're going to take another shot.
Oh, hell yeah. That is another 9.
Okay, so that hits for 2 damage. And if you want, wait, a 9? Yeah, that's all you can do. If you want, you can take 1 more damage to the ship by pushing those lasers to their limit and doing a 1 more harm, which will cause them to be adrift or crash. Or you can just leave them adrift.
Survey says.
Take him out.
Let's
yeah, take him out.
not...
And it would be superficial damage that your ship would be able to be repaired from, like, by the time you're on the planet.
If it dies, it dies.
I've got you covered.
Okay. Pew pew!
Pew pew.
Okay.
Yep.
So you do the extra damage, and so for the purposes of right now, so it would matter if there were multiple ships fighting you that you have 1 damage to the ship, but the ship's going to be repaired by the time you're done. You see this ship start to circle and shoot down toward the planet's surface.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you had your first combat in the impulse drive system. Woo!
And we didn't die.
We didn't
It's terrible. I
die.
just want to go and
Close to
salvage
dying.
the scraps. Like, I just want to go and pick up pieces.
Well, actually, make a roll plus calculating.
Okay, cool. That would be 9.
It's headed to where you want to land.
Perfect.
Do I feel
Looks like
anything?
it's going to crash into where you land.
We're gonna go check that out.
You don't feel like a severance, like as if all of those consciousnesses were wiped out. They're still alive in there. And you do feel their frustration.
Orders, Captain.
We will land. They are still alive, though, so we will proceed with caution. They might be after the same thing that the captain wanted us to protect.
You want me to shoot him again?
Not just yet.
All right. So you are able to, over the course of a couple of hours, get the ship to a good landing spot. What you notice, where the GPS is that you were given by the captain, there are two important features. And this is in the middle of pretty much like a flat desert, but it's kind of a cool looking desert. Has anybody ever been to like, the only beach I know that does this is like the Caribbean side of Florida, where you get like the multicolored little pieces of sand because coral has broken off and it's sort of like pastel sand.
Just like swamps, we don't have beaches in Canada.
Oh yeah, no, good point. So you have no idea.
That's my favorite joke.
Or pastel colors.
Oh man.
Or pastel colors.
Because everything is white.
Currently. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. It's not. Not anymore.
Does Cam even know that running gag? Canada doesn't have baseball. It doesn't have swamps. Like we've all determined that we have to explain everything to
Yeah,
our...
game
So
one.
Canada is the UK.
Yeah.
Just with more
Right.
snow.
Yeah. This is an
Hey,
English.
we all run into the same rules, so it makes sense.
Canada has birds that
Yeah.
drop rocks.
Just like in the UK, they
That's
don't have,
true.
especially in London, they don't have sunglasses because they don't need them.
No, you don't need, like,
What is there?
it is
sand?
literally raining as I speak.
Classic UK.
It was 82 today. So
It snowed.
Celsius or Fahrenheit? Hang on a second.
it's Fahrenheit. It
The
was
fake one.
pleasant. Yeah.
20
The fake one.
degrees.
The
20
measuring
degrees.
system that matters. All right, so you're able to land, and it's really quite a beautiful pastel desert. It just expands from every horizon. There's a few sort of like dunes. There's a wind that blows the sand in like pastel clouds, multicolored clouds. You can see there's some places where colors are concentrated a little bit more than others. As you came down, it was like looking like an abstract painting almost. And you see two things. One is that you see that there is a settlement. And there is a settlement of essentially yurts, but really, really nice ones, like really, really well-appointed tents, some of which look like they could even be multiple stories, some of which have like things kind of jutting off the sides of them. It's a settlement that probably has a couple hundred people. You notice that far off on the horizon, there is some kind of very large structure. And you notice that that AI ship seems to have crashed into a portion of this settlement. And you land right outside of the settlement. What do you do?
Rook, would you come with me to investigate the other ship?
Oh, you don't have to tell me twice.
Captain, I can't help but feel it's perhaps not a good idea for the two of you to go off on your own, especially if they're still alive.
I pull my pistol off my back and go, I'm pretty sure they'll listen to this. We'll be all right.
Harrison's going to hold up his battle rifle, and they'll listen to this more.
All right.
Pulsar
won't
just
pull
goes
this-
ahead and cocks the sniper rifle and just looks at you both.
Yeah, as my sniper rifle's
Well,
hanging off my shoulder, and I go,
Go fucking
Okay.
trigger happy.
tell me if you like, but I'm going to salvage the hell out of this ship. We're going to go check this out.
All right.
Utah
Utah.
will collect some of the sand in a little container and kind of write, I don't know, do we know the name of the planet?
It is Arda.
She'll write Arda on the top of it and kind of stow it in her pack.
All right. It's very pretty. I don't know if anybody else when you were kids had to do like the little color sand things where you like put different layers of colored sand in a jar. Yeah, it's that. Okay. Cole's shaking their head. Yeah, I'm not the only one. Okay. So as you walk into the settlement, you notice some very obvious things, and one is that there are alien creatures that live here. They are... Have you ever seen those, like, what is that creature that can live in any environment and was featured on Discovery? It has all the
Tardigrade?
legs. Tardigrade.
Water?
You know how they look all weird and puffy when they're, like, magnified? That, like,
Yes.
puffy feeling? That they look a little bit like tardigrades without the kind of tardigrade mouth. They have faces. They have, like, little nose, mouth flaps. So when they're speaking, it kind of goes like that.
Oh,
They
no.
have little tiny little ear holes with just tiny little ear flaps, but they've got that multiple arms and that squishiness. They've got, and actually different ones have different numbers of arms. There's like 6, some have 8. Very, very, very thick bodies, a kind of like variation between grays and browns. They're walking around, and they're walking around busy, but actually anybody who wants to, I'm trying to think of what would be a good, this would be an insight check if we were doing D&D. So let me think what would be a good way of doing this. Roll plus calculating.
They're water bears.
Is this
Two water
everyone?
bears.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God,
that's-
yes.
I was gonna say water bears, but
I don't know what those are, but that's the perfect name for what I described. So
Oh, no, that's not gonna work.
I can't see it. You gotta send it to the Discord.
Water bear is like the fun name, the easier
I
name.
rolled a 10. I would also like to use my ability to scan them and learn one fact about them.
Okay. The one fact that you learn about them, they speak very strangely. Something about their language is very difficult for people to learn because it doesn't work quite linearly. What you also got from the 10 plus calculate. Okay, so a ship just crashed into their settlement. There's like some smoke coming up from it. There's a little bit of fire that's being put out. Goodness knows what has happened there. They're bustling, but they don't seem particularly, as far as you can tell from alien creatures, emotional. There's like not shouting. There's not wailing. Like they seem to be just like people who are getting down to business to fix a problem.
Sorry, you said the ship crashed into like a...
Bunch of
Yeah.
yurts. Yeah. They're bustling around. They're not really taking a lot of notice of you either. And I would actually say everybody can notice that part.
Well,
They're bustling around, not paying any attention to you.
If we're
I'm
gonna,
focusing on the rubble and the ship, and I want to see if there's any like technologies or any hardware that I can see that I might be able to benefit and improve the the crew's weaponry or anything that we can salvage.
Please proceed with caution.
Yeah,
You-
can you
yeah.
let us soldier types maybe take a quick look through and make sure there's no one that gonna bust out and kill us?
What's the worst that's gonna happen?
You'll
Cut my
die.
finger on some. All
not-
right, if you
no,
have to.
We are still conscious.
Conscious or aware, there's a difference.
Conscious.
Yeah. Pulsar, you're with me. Let's go.
So it's on the other side of the settlement from where you landed. So you're walking past all of these bustling aliens. Does anybody do anything related to them, or do you go right to the ship?
Are they paying attention to us at all?
They seem to like not really, like it's not that they're even ignoring you. They just kind of acknowledge that you're there and look unimpressed and keep moving around.
I'll follow these guys, but I'm beelining for the ship.
I think we are heading for the ship.
Anybody
Pulsar
else?
is not interested. Cameron wants 12, but Pulsar's not interested.
Okay.
Cameron wants 12.
I will second Cameron's comment. Doug wants at least 12. That would be fantastic. They're so cute.
They are really kind of adorable. Utah?
she'll probably just stick with the crew. Can we at least send the robot out front if they're still connected, as it seems like they are?
Why don't we send you out? You like getting in the way.
Okay. Well, why don't you just mow down a bunch of these aliens because you like killing people so much? If we're taking pot shots, we could go all day here.
And at you two.
Pull up, are we shooting? Is that what's happening here? I'm like,
For love of all that is good.
They kill
Get in
zombies.
formation.
That's
Get
why
behind
they don't
me.
use an automatic.
Oh my god, I need so much ice right now.
Trigger fingers itchy. I'm like, I don't get to shoot very often as the engineer. I'm ready to go.
Oh my
So
god.
you walking in formation toward the ship? Or
What?
did everybody just ignore what Harrison said?
No, I'll follow,
I'm
but
still-
it's going to be kind of
I'm
like,
still
I'm not really
staring Utah down at this point. I'm still
Mhm.
like,
She's looking at you. She's not gonna back down from this.
There's like,
Damn.
you know that music in a Western where like they're about to draw. Yeah. That's like in the background of everybody's mind. So like Harrison, Rook, and Avery, you're like trying to move forward, but they're locked in some kind of conflict right outside of your ship.
Harrison's going to walk back and stand directly between the two of them. Look back and forth. You're both really fucking tough. Get in formation. March.
Why don't you
Pulsar
roll
just
me?
kinda-
Well, I want to hear your reactions first, and then Harrison's going to do a roll.
Oh, Pulsar was just gonna kind of raise up the rifle, take a look at it in his peripheral, and then go ahead and lower the mask. Just
Utah will kind of give Harrison a little sniff. He's like, "You sure you can aim straight?"
Why don't you find out?
Lead the
That-
way.
That determines what roll. I was going to say either like manipulate, which is also persuasion, or intimidate, but obviously it's intimidate. So roll plus volatile. And all three of you can if you want.
A 10.
Bringing
you-
out the big guns.
Me included?
No. The three
Oh.
people caught in the like,
Okay, good.
like noon sun
Oh, sorry.
showdown.
What were we rolling? It was-
Intimidate if you're trying to intimidate to get your way.
double sixes.
Ooh.
Damn it.
Single six.
My one good roll.
Single six. Okay. Harrison,
Because I'll talk.
you're able to Utah, basically you end up like kind of sucking it up and being like, it's not worth it. I'm just okay, fine, I'm just gonna go and follow.
Yeah.
Pulsar is off on his own, like, but the rest of you can advance toward the ship in some semblance of formation. Pulsar's just off doing his thing.
Fuck it, I don't get paid enough.
Yeah, I'll follow in some sort of makeshift formation since I'm like, don't really understand it, but I'm going to like pretend because I kind of want to be.
Utah will pop her shield, and I'm just imagining it's just like this thin, translucent, maybe blue outline that goes all around her.
That actually reminds me, three of you have tactical packs, pick who three, and you have 3 items of your gear that you can carry with you. Pick the 3 that you're taking with you.
I think I would have a tactical pack.
Avery has one.
I don't know if that'd be very helpful with as an engineer. Maybe somebody with more battle background might be better.
Harrison will snag one.
I guess Utah can take one. Because this is primarily for healing others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she would take one.
And just while we go, like, I trust you to be honest. We don't have to pause while you look through all your gear and try to figure it out. But just while we go, like, glance at your gear and pick what you have. All right. So the closer you get to the ship, the more bustling. And you do start to see the water bears. That's what I want to call them. I was going to name them the Gali, but I think, like, that's what their official name is, and everybody calls them water bears. Are carrying the wounded, and even some that look like they might be, like, next to death, and fairly calmly carrying them all in one specific direction. You see people trying to put out the fires, making pretty good progress. The tents seem to be made of some kind of like cured skins that are like covered with some kind of fire retardant layer. So, and you can actually see, like, much as this looks kind of primitive, they have a lot of technological stuff that you would recognize within their yurts. They seem to just choose to live in them. And you get to the ship, and the bay doors are open, and there is nothing there.
Is there any way that we could scan the ship?
Yeah. Who has a scanner? Doesn't Rook have a scanner?
Yeah, I've got one.
You
Sure
wanna use your
do.
scanner?
Yeah, I'll definitely. Yeah, that's like the first thing I plan to do as soon as I get to the wreckage.
Alrighty.
So what do I need to roll for that? Is there anything? Or
So
I
you
guess,
roll scope it
I
out. So
scope
you
it
roll
out
plus
and-
calculating, but you roll with advantage. And that's one use of your scanner.
Yep. So that's calculating the 10.
10. Okay, what do you want to ask?
I want to ask something to the ship.
No, what do you want to ask me?
Oh,
What should I be
So-
on the lookout for? What's my enemy's true position? Who or what here is not what they seem? How could I best end this quickly? Who or what here could be a useful opportunity? What did you roll? A 10?
10.
You can ask 3 questions like that or make up your own.
Okay, so the one where it's what here may not be what it seems, because I'm kind of curious about the whole, whether they're alive or not, or if it's like an awareness or, awake. So that'll be the one question. If you want to answer that first.
I'm typing an answer to you.
Oh, Discord?
No, Zoom.
Okay.
Secrets! So while Jen's typing secrets, don't forget to check out Found Familiar and also type in for the giveaway and stuff.
Yeah, we had 2 winners already, so that's awesome.
All right, secret is typed out to you. And your next 2 questions?
Is there anything from the Rebel that I can salvage that we can benefit from, whether it be on the ship or weaponry or anything like that?
They don't seem to have left a lot behind.
Oh, so it seems like it was stripped? Like not...
No, it seems like they took their gear.
Okay, so they took off and left with everything they required and kind of, okay.
Yeah.
And then a third question.
The collective left with the gear?
Yeah. The whoever was manning the ship as a collective AI, not on the ship anymore, and took their gear.
Third question.
Unless the water bears took their gear. That's possible too. Their gear's missing.
Yeah, and so that was part of my question. The next one is, well, it's kind of like a 2-parter, but I guess it's the same sort of investigation, is just do I see any signs of the people who were in the ship that left that are injured, or like tracks or anything from people that have come and like messed with the crash? Like basically just looking for footprints and blood or, leaking AI fluid, like leaking fluids and things like that, or footprints from the water bears.
Yeah. You don't see any leaking fluids from like an AI. You know what that looks. It looks mostly like oil. You don't see anything like that. There's a couple of like little areas on the ship where maybe they got banged up, and there's like a little bit. But like they must have been very well secured in the ship or able to control their crash a little bit. And
Right.
you would know they're AI, they're made of metal, they're much harder to mess up by something like hitting an object. The water bears, there's a lot that have been injured. And they're taking all of them, no matter their level of injury, on stretchers away from that and in a direction more like in the direction of where your ship landed, though not exactly. And they seem to have very well organized, started like shipping people in a certain direction.
Cool. So no organic life. This is all AI related.
Well, the water bears are organic, but it was all
yeah, but
AI
I mean the
on
ship itself. Yeah.
As far as you can tell, it was all AI on ship. They didn't have any pets. There's no
No.
hamster cages or
No space
parakeets.
hamsters.
Yeah. Space hamsters. You get points for saying something with space in front of it. Space hamsters. Non-existent one-shot XP for saying something with space in front of it.
That's awesome. All right, cool. Yeah, I think that sums up what I'm searching for then. There's nothing really I can salvage from here. So I'll turn back to Avery and just kind of look around and go, they seemed like they took everything they needed, and it's... There's nobody was here. This is all work of some AIs, and I don't know where they're heading, but they seemed like they knew where they were going. They took what they needed and left in a hurry.
We should definitely be careful going forward. Also, if you do take any of the technology, be warned that it may have a virus.
I wish there was something to take, but I don't think there's anything of use
Oh, I thought
here.
you were gonna like rip off part of the ship or something. I don't know.
Nah, I looked around. There's nothing worth it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
there-
you could, if you wanted to, at some point salvage parts of it to study the technology. You could, but it's like you would have to like dig out motherboard kind of.
Yeah,
equivalent
I'm
stuff.
not gonna
It's
dig
not
that deep.
immediately. Yeah.
I was looking for something that was like basically like loose around that has like new technology that I could like pick up that's like on a console or something like that. But
You
more
know,
important things to do. We got this this girl or someone we gotta find. So
Utah Pulsar, do you see any tracks?
I could scope it out. I've got a sensor somewhere.
So you use
Which-
one use of the sensor to scope it out with advantage.
Yeah. And that is Stalbart calculating.
Calculating.
Damn it. 19.
Well, you take out the lowest number.
Nine.
Oh,
Why did I
yeah.
say 19? Nine is
gonna
what
say.
I meant to say.
So you can ask. You can ask one
going.
of
When
these.
did this switch to a D20? What happened?
Whoa! that does meet the that is their armor class. No. You get to ask one of those questions too. I should have, the like sheet that I gave you all, I should have put page numbers on it, so I could have just sent you to the page with the questions. That would have been smart, but it didn't. Yeah, where's my
Next
best
time.
escape route? What should I be on the lookout for? What's my enemy's true position? Who or what here is not what they seem? Who's really in control here? How could I best end this?
I would say, what's my enemy's position, or who is not what it seems? I feel like they're maybe
You
hiding
get
in
to
plain
pick one or
sight.
the other.
I guess what's their position, because that's more direct.
You're able to see pretty, like, you're not used to looking for AI tracks, but you look at Avery's feet and you have a sense of what their feet would look like versus like a thick water bear's kind of elephant feet. So you can see their tracks. They're going pretty much in the same direction as the water bears, but their tracks are kind of the earliest tracks to go in that direction. So they probably left before this, like, chain of people carrying the wounded.
Okay. Well, looks like they're all walking in the same direction as whatever these creatures are. So I don't know if these creatures are being drawn by them, or, I mean, I guess Tin Can might know a little bit more about that than I do, but we should head that way. If we're gonna save whoever this is, we gotta go now.
All right.
We shall go, but you can call me Avery.
I certainly could.
You can speak to your captain with the proper amount of respect.
I think we don't know that Ash is gone.
He is currently not present. So I am acting as captain until it is confirmed. Should he return, he will gladly have his space back. But until then, I am the captain.
Harrison will slide in behind Avery. Big hulking man.
She'll give a half-hearted salute and then start heading in the direction where the water bears are going.
Does everybody head in that direction?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
Pulsar doing while all this investigating is happening?
Murder!
It's got 12 water bears.
Look over. There's just a pile of water bears around him.
I don't know how these got here.
The water bears just put them on their stretchers and keep walking with them.
Now, Pulsar is keeping an eye out at the moment and essentially working as the rear guard while they're messing around inside. And as they begin to come out, he doesn't really acknowledge them, but at the same time, as they're beginning to walk away, he, at a distance, follows behind. Present, but not interacting.
As you're walking behind the group, a smaller water bear, a water cub, if you will. And the little ones, they're blue in color, various shades of blue, and must kind of get duller colored as they get older. Kind of sidles up to you and goes, "Good yesterday."
Just kind of pauses, takes a look to the left, to the right, just kind of...
"Down here. Good yesterday."
Hello.
"Why are you here? You weren't here before."
I was not here.
"I have no memories of you."
I did not. It is best you run along now.
"Oh, I didn't do that.
Do what?
I didn't run along."
Okay, so this is happening.
"You
Just
have not
kinda-
answered my question in the past, but maybe you'll answer it in the future."
Looks back and wants to quickly check if the crew are still in eye shot.
Yeah, I think you were following them, so they're ahead of you.
Yeah, like
Okay,
Rook's looking
they're
back
still-
and like, what
Yeah.
the fuck are you looking at? Like, what are you doing?
It's so cute, though. It's really cute. They've
That is
got
a
like a
weird
little
dog.
mouth flap,
Stop
and
petting it.
when it talks, it's all it's so cute.
Stop petting the awkward dog. We're on a minute. We got something to look at here. Let's go.
I
Try not to kill it while you're at it.
Quest.
Oh, did you fulfill it?
Not yet, but I hope to.
Oh, so you didn't fulfill it, but you might in the future.
That's the hope.
Who
That's
asked
why
you to
I'm
do
here.
something? What do they want you to do?
One of the few people in this world that I can consider a friend.
Friends were important. Friends were very important. What did you do for them?
More, what did he do for me? And Pulsar is kind of still checking the rest of the crew are kind of not close enough to be within earshot as he
Yeah.
reaches down, like he drops down to this cub's level, so to speak, and just says,
You were not taller than me now.
"Indeed, I am not. You are interesting creatures."
We were interesting creatures.
Were, are
Yes,
interesting, Rama.
we were interesting creatures.
I see. We will be gone soon. Do not worry.
Were you here for the temple?
There is a temple.
Well, yes, there was always a temple.
I see. He kind of thinks for a second. And will there be a temple in the future?
There was always a temple.
Damn it. Thought that would get you. Good to know.
I had memories there. I had memories of my mother in the temple.
Do you know where this temple may be?
It's the temple. Everyone knew where the temple was.
I see.
Pulsar, why are you talking to that dog?
I was never a dog.
Because it talks back.
Oh God! Oh, no.
Harrison's going to put a hand over Rook's mouth.
If you were here for the temple, I would have led you there.
Perhaps we might be.
If you were,
Depends whether-
I would.
I suppose. Also, kind of thinks for a second. Just, I suppose Perhaps the temple is also what we are looking for. Maybe. Kind of turns to the rest of the crew, just come over.
Good yesterday. Good yesterday, everybody.
Hello?
Good yesterday.
Harrison, it's today.
Good yesterday.
Good yesterday. Were you also doing a favor for the same person that he was doing a favor for?
Yes.
You were? Was it also at the temple?
Where was the temple?
The temple was that way. And he points in the same direction that a lot of the people are kind of carrying stretchers.
That's the same question. I didn't get that. Oh, never mind.
We can show you. We can show you. You found it easy, but finding your way around it, that was hard.
What?
You found it easily, but finding your way around it, that was hard.
It
Uh-oh.
was hard. We could have used your assistance.
If you were to have asked me, I would have helped.
Would you help us then?
I would help you then. And he starts to walk off. And he kind of has this like proud little, I'm doing something useful, mark.
Oh, no, I love him.
So he continues to walk along. And there are about 12 stretchers. And you pass, they're slower moving. So you get out ahead of them pretty quickly. And there are about 12 stretchers with people at varying degrees of injury and burning and like blunt force injury. People have done first aid on them, but even ones that seem near death, they're not prioritizing taking them anywhere except this temple. That seems to be what they want to do. And as you travel through the sands, Utah, you're the one who rolled really high on the tracking, yeah? It gets a little difficult because shifting sands, just no matter how high you roll, are not going to keep footprints. So once you get into the sands, you don't see the footprints anymore, but all the way to the edge of the settlement, you saw them. And you're sort of at the vanguard of a caravan now going across the sands. You feel the stinging on your face as these clouds of pastel colored sand hit you in the wind. You actually see the little water bear kind of when it gets in his ear a little bit. Yeah, it's cute. And as you get to the horizon, you see growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, an beautiful structure that you have no idea how it might have been created. It is made of many different colors of glass. And if you think about where you're at, like a lot of you realize like, oh, we're surrounded by different colors of sand. Those can create different colors of glass. And it looks almost organic in the way that it's almost like a root system that curves up and around and weaves together in a bit of like a teepee form. And those of you who have been in the captain's offices recently will recognize that this is a very large version of the small glass statue that you saw there.
Can Utah use the tactical pack on, I guess, one of the water bears that looks a little bit closer to death?
It literally beat me to it. Took a word for word out of my mouth.
What do you do as you approach the bears who are carrying the stretcher?
So, kind of walk up slowly and like produce this package in front of her and just try not to look threatening, like hands out forward, and like, I mean, I guess if they can talk, she'll say, "Hey, I can try to save their life if you want."
They speak back to you, but in their own language. So it's doesn't make any sense. But the little bear comes up to you and says, they didn't have time. They needed to save his memory.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't think this is gonna do it, so she'll put the pack back.
And they did, yeah. You kind of get the impression that what that mumbling thing was from one of them was like, "Get the fuck out of the way. We're in a hurry." And in fact, like the closer they get to the temple, the more urgency they walk with. What happened? Child bear, is that what someone said? What happens when you get the water cub? That's what I need to be calling it, the water cub. When you get to the base of the temple, what do? You can see there's a very distinct like cutting off point where like the first columns of glass in there about like 4 to 5 feet in diameter. There's a lot of pinks and blues and like sea glass colors. And there's a ground underneath it, and you can't quite tell if it's actually glass or some other kind of like material, but a very, very smooth ground underneath it. So the sand cuts off pretty, and like there's like a little bit of sand that's like on top of that ground that's been blown into the wind. But all of these different tendrils of glass get thicker and thicker and thicker as you go in, blocking the sand. And it's dark in there.
Do we have any source of light?
I was just gonna say, could we like shoot light into this thing and see if it does?
I don't know.
Prism?
Do any of you have dark vision?
Yeah.
Always.
I kind of like to think that like the lines of like I want to call them seams. I don't know if they're seams, but like that lights up. I also have like a third almost eye, not an eye.
You can see a little bit better than they can, but I'm sure that there's like a flashlight or a scope.
I would think on the...
Yeah, I don't have a problem with...
Sniper rifle would be like a flash.
Yeah. This is futuristic. Like, oh shoot, we don't have a torch would be ridiculous. So yeah, I'm sure that you have some light. It's not a lot of light. Do you stay outside of the structure or do you go into the structure?
I'll take and move
Were
in.
we allowed inside to the child water cub?
You went.
We're allowed?
You went.
Did you go
I went many times.
with us?
I went with you. I went with my mom a long time ago.
Then I guess we should go in.
This thing already knows what we've done.
Yeah, let's... Utah's gonna pull out her scanner again. Let's go ahead and just take a look first, huh?
All right.
I'm gonna expend another use.
Can
Well,
I like use a
scaffolding.
use to like somehow give some sort of advantage too, or like?
Well, that's the
People.
advantage doesn't stack.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, he already has it. Never mind. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Not great. 7.
7. You can ask one question.
As...
Do you want me to read the list?
No. Wasn't one of them like, is something not what it seems? I'll do that.
Is something not what it seems. There's also what should I be on the lookout for?
Can I scan too? I still have uses.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
this
like
is something not
a
what it
ton.
seems.
Is something not what it seems?
Yes, please.
Yeah, this isn't just glass. And the floor serves a function that is different than just to be walked on.
I rolled a 13, so just give me all the answers.
You still have to designate some questions.
How many questions are left?
There's, well, but you asked those about the AI ship. So like, what's my best escape route or way in or way past?
Okay,
What
so
should I
I'll
be on
take
the
that
lookout
one.
for? What should I be on the lookout for? What's my enemy's true position? Who or what here is not what they seem? Who's really in control here? How could I best end this quickly? Who or what here could be a useful opportunity?
Okay, so holy crap, that's a lot. I think I have that.
Yeah, it's
scanner
in
thing.
the, yeah. If we ever play this again, in addition to giving the handouts, I will number the pages so I
So
can send you the right page.
scanner, I think, is on the cheat sheet. Is it that you sent us?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if
You
I
want to
can
look
find
at
the
Scope
question.
It Out.
Okay, where
Let's see
the
if I can find it.
where the
Scope
hell
It Out
is that?
like under Universal Moves, it's like the 3rd page.
There's a lot of questions there, and there's
It
some
is
good
page
stuff
3,
we could.
yes.
Yeah, page 3 that I can't find. So there was one that was something about like who is in control of this or something
Mhm.
like that.
Who's really in
that,
control here?
Yeah, that one. Another one was a way in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, who's really in control? Best route in or past. I guess that's fairly similar. What should I be on the lookout for? Let's do those three.
Okay. The temple is what's really in control.
Okay, the temple's in control, yep.
Yeah, and you can discern that by how the water cub is looking at the temple and acting toward the temple. What should you be on the lookout for? Well, you don't know where the AI are or where they went, so that would be a good thing to be on the lookout for. And what was the third? Best way in? Yeah. You can see a pretty good path. Like as you look through it, you can see how to weave through to get deeper into it. Yeah, and it's like a very sort of windy path around different tendrils of glass.
I look at the cub and go, so we were in there. We've already been in there. We've been in there before.
You were in there with me in the future.
And we went that way. And I point at the opening that has the path cut through.
Oh, yes, I showed you the opening. Here, let me show you. And
did we come out?
You came out in the future.
Okay. Show us.
And the cub steps on the different material, and as soon as he does, the material lights up, and it's a nice white light, and it makes the bottoms of the tendrils sort of light up with the glass, and eventually it fades up pretty high, but it lights everything up in the area, and everywhere that you can step is lit, so everyone can see, even if you don't have dark vision.
Dark vision. Cool. I look back to Harrison. I look back to Avery. And I kind of like watch Avery and just, respectfully wait for direction and kind of give like an approval after my scan.
We think we should go in.
We've already been in, so I think we're all right.
We move forward.
After you,
The cycle
Captain.
is certain.
What did you say, Pulsar? I couldn't hear
The
you.
cycle is certain. If we made
Haha, thanks, I hate it.
we'll make it out.
If you what?
If we made it in, we make it out.
Yeah, gang, there's something weird going on with this place. The floors we walk on aren't just surfaces to be walked on. I don't know if they're some sort of living organism or technology. She'll look at Avery. But something spooky.
As you're saying this, the people in the caravan actually begin walking onto the floor with the stretchers.
For once, Utah and I are in agreement. There is more here than meets the eye.
Then we move forward carefully. Utah, you're with me. Pulsar, watch our back.
Understood.
As you walk into the structure, you see a couple of things. You walk past lots of people on stretchers who've been placed near the base of several of the columns, and their hands are being held up, if they can't hold their own hands, to press the side of the glass. You also see the water cub a little bit ahead of you, with both hands pressed up against the glass, sort of happily talking at the wall. And then when you get closer, he goes, oh, come with me.
We'll follow the little one, I guess.
All right. Who is in front?
I think that would be me. Yeah?
Well,
Maybe? I don't know. What do you think?
I would like to think that if you're in charge here, you're kind of the boss, that Utah and I would be in front and you would be right behind us with Rook and then Pulsar behind. That's my thought.
Okay. I like that thought. Let's use it.
All right. Who's in front then?
Utah and Harrison.
Okay. Utah, you walk past a deeper blue column of glass, And the reflection on the glass catches your eye. And you get that deep feeling again of abyss in your chest. Roll alien, or roll plus alien, yeah.
That is a 9.
Okay. You see in the glass something that you recognize. You see playing out in the glass as if in miniature, almost like a snow globe. The moment in your life that was the biggest turning point to make you who you are. And you become transfixed by it. And all of the rest of you see that Utah is transfixed by this and can see what is playing out in the glass. Utah, what do they see?
That's a pretty good question. I think there was probably a moment when she was growing up and she was with a couple of the other children from her order, and they're on a planet, and their order's not super well liked. It's very well known, and they started getting bullied by some older kids, and Utah kind of just laid the smack down, and she was pretty badly beaten in it, but they came out on top on the other side, and that was kind of a moment where she's like, all right, this is something I want to fight for, and it's a part of me.
All of you see that playing out and have a sense as you watch it of the emotional resonance of it, almost as if the glass is a conductor for the emotions that that child was feeling. Who was second in order?
Well, like, I think
it's
Utah and
Harrison.
Harrison are walking next to each other, and then it would have been
Okay.
either Rook or
Okay.
Avery.
So you were walking right next to Utah, which means that you didn't have really time to react. So in another column, you similarly see a moment that was the biggest turning point in your life. And the rest of you can see it too. What is it that they see?
So you see a military unit rounding up a group of civilians, presumably to just arrest and, kind of contain, except a ranking officer walks in and orders for them all to be shot. And Harrison steps forward, tries to stop that from happening, and his men ignore him and proceed to open fire. So Harrison, in a split second, decides to go against everything he had stood for and starts shooting at his own men. He shot the commanding officer and ran in and grabbed the first person, a teenage girl, scooped her up, wounded, scooped her up from next to a gentleman and another young boy, and ran as fast as he could, yelling at the civilians to run.
Roll plus alien.
Oh, I have a minus there, so it's 10.
Okay. That's still really good. So all of you again feel the emotion of that moment resonating as if off the glass. When you see the image of yourself picking up this young woman and you know her name, you hear as if, and all of you can hear as if the temple is whispering her name, which is Jaina. Jaina, sort of echoing through the hallways. What do the rest of you do?
Do I actually feel anything?
The same thing that they felt.
I actually look to see how Avery reacts.
Roll plus alien, Rook.
Toonfish, thanks for the Twitch Prime.
Yay!
Yeah, thank you. Rook rolls 10.
Okay. You can tell that Avery probably doesn't even know that this happened. But to the extent that Avery has facial expressions, part of them reacted to that name. There was a look of recognition, but you can tell that it was not something that Avery was conscious of happening of flickering across their face.
So almost like there's like a reaction that I wouldn't expect from an AI almost.
Very much so, yeah.
Gotcha.
And a nonsensical one based on, the fact that Avery has never met Jaina.
Gotcha. Data's painting art.
Maybe. The water cub comes up to you and goes, "Oh, you were remembering."
Did we all remember?
I think there are only a few of us, but we all saw some stuff anyways.
Some of you did in the future.
So there's more to come.
There was.
There was. Not there will be.
There was in the future.
Did you see the future, or did the future already happen?
That's a weird question, and I don't understand. By the way, my mom says hi. My mom says hi. I was talking to her, and she saw you walk past, and she says hello.
Good yesterday.
That explains a lot.
Is the rest of the crowd still moving?
The simple
No, they're
engineer's
staying.
mind does not work in nothing but the present. This is breaking my head.
They're staying around the boundaries and holding people's hands up. And the bear cub goes, "Do you want to see? Did you want to see?"
Yes.
Did we see it yesterday, tomorrow, next week? What?
You saw it in the future. Here. And he puts up his hand on the glass, and you actually see with a hand on his, and it's like a stumpy little hand. They've got like 3 fingers, big stumpy hand. And you see a much taller gray water bear standing there and just saying, "I'm happy to see you. It's good to see you. I'm so glad that you're here. Hello, everybody." In the glass, like a reflection.
Is this happening? What? Like, Rook's kind of like just taking it in because I'm assuming this is a technology he's never seen.
Could I
You have
try
never seen this.
to scan the glass?
Sure.
Do I roll?
Plus calculating or scope it out. Are you using a scanner?
I'm using my ability
Okay.
to scan organisms, but I don't know if the glass, because like the glass is weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, then you can just ask one question.
One question. That's a good question. What do I want to ask?
I can give you a fact instead.
Yeah.
You're not sure if this is an organism or a structure. It's like kind of both or neither.
Intriguing.
You went to the center. We should have gone.
We should have, but we didn't.
No, we should have. We should have. We went to the center. Here, I showed you.
You
And he walks ahead.
showed,
I follow.
but you're showing, but
I
I follow. It's just
Avery puts a hand on around Rook's shoulders, sensing distress. I am
They
sensing
live in the
distress.
memory.
but it's happened, but not happened. It's happening and shit. Just
You'll get over it. Or maybe you will. Or maybe you already have.
times now, not then or when and what, and let's just go.
As you get closer and closer to the center, the tendrils get smaller and smaller. And at a certain point, you pass a few tendrils and pulsar. You become transfixed and roll alien.
I'm excited to
5.
hear this.
5?
Mhm.
Okay. A scene starts to form and then dissolves. And it's almost like your mask is in between you and the glass in enough of a way that it can't feed off of you. Rook, roll plus alien.
11.
Okay. What does everyone see?
Oh God. Okay, so this is the whole defining moment, if I correct her.
A moment that was a big turning point for you. Yes, biggest turning point for you.
Cool. So you see Rook as a very young child. He's very. It's very obvious that it's him, but he's still kind of got that same techie mindset. He's playing with circuit boards. He's playing with little things. He's playing with technology. But he's like bringing it to friends and showing it. He's showing family. He's always getting like pushed back, and he's, always getting pushed down and down and down, and made to feel very, very small. And the only thing he knows is how to work with his hands, but it's just been a drive for himself. So it flips kind of forward to when he's a little bit older and he's a teenager, and you kind of see him, starting to hack into, some merchant shops and like different places where he's like basically using his knowledge of technology to be a hooligan and just benefit himself and like for better worth, just because he's got nobody on his side. He doesn't have friends. He's all on his own. Flip forward again, and you see him, kind of mid-20s, and he's basically trying to hijack into a ship to try and steal some supplies and stuff, and he's still alone, but this time he gets caught by the captain, and, kind of reluctantly, because he's spent 20 years doing this, and he's only just got caught for the first time, but the captain sees his worth and pulls him in and takes him under his wing. And that's a huge defining point, and he starts to, kind of push towards his engineering background with ships and stuff, and start his life, going right. And that's the turning point of where his, his focus in life actually came true.
Everyone, again, feels those emotions radiating off of the glass. And as you get toward the center, you see a raised sort of circular dais with stairs, and you see these tendrils now moving, tendrils of glass around the dais. And the water cub looks at Avery.
Is something the matter?
You were supposed to decide.
What did I decide?
I don't know. I didn't know. You were supposed to decide. Roll plus alien.
13.
Okay. A series of images flash through your mind. And while Avery does not notice this, it flashes through the glass behind them too. So all of you see this. What flashes through your mind, again, are these conversations that you had with the captain that you never remembered before, where you spoke in a way that wasn't the way that you speak. And you remember now the captain in these conversations calling you Jaina.
And sorry, do I see this in the glass?
Yes, and hear it. And again, when the word Jaina is said, you feel it echo through the building.
I try to keep my composure.
So do I! And in the distance, you can hear Cole's brain go,
Rook,
Far, far away.
roll plus stalwart for keep your cool.
I don't.
5.
Everyone can tell that Rook is shaken more than anybody but maybe Avery.
Rook is
What are you gonna
shook.
Rook is shook. He's a shook Rook. Avery, what were you gonna say?
Why don't we remember?
I'm just keeping my mouth shut. I'm not saying anything.
Harrison's just staring at Avery. Completely tense.
Can
Also-
I kind of like... Can I run a scan on myself to find something locked away.
You can roll plus calculating, sure.
9.
9. What are you trying to find?
Not the thing I locked away purposely. I want to dig into my memories.
You have a lot of memories that aren't yours.
Can I unlock them?
Not by scanning.
Do I hack myself? Unchain the AI.
And again, the rest of you, Rook is shook in a different way than anybody else here.
What do you mean by different way?
Because I'm so sorry, Corey, but you rolled so badly.
It was
Like,
bad. It was real
yeah.
bad.
Rook's not surprised.
So what? Utah will look between the two of them, look at Rook and say, look at Rook while pointing at Avery. What is this? What's going on? You know something. We all fucking saw that.
Yeah, I know that name. And
Who is Jaina?
Ash's daughter.
Harrison's right.
Protect her. This is what the captain said, right?
Mm-hmm. Keep her safe. Get there quick.
Yeah.
Perhaps that is our answer.
Rook, you need to start talking now.
No, we, Ash had a plan. And it involved Avery and his daughter. And to, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Jen, at any point if I get this wrong.
Go for it.
It was to pull his daughter's conscious and store it in a safe place. And we were successful. There's a lot of times he went missing for hours and he would spend time talking to her, and his goal was to bring her consciousness into a form of a being, much like Avery.
Avery, you now have these thoughts of walking into the captain's quarters and almost going black and then coming to as you walked out.
We talked. I had years of experience. We bonded over. I helped him with some of it, but I don't know how far he got. But I know what the intention was. It seems like he might have gotten further than I thought.
Pretty fucking far, apparently.
Yeah, seems so. Seems those tools I helped him provision seem to have gotten put into good use.
No.
We are feeling conflicted.
Well, you should be. This is all types of wrong, right?
I think
we
you
die,
underestimate
we die,
what's...
and then
Part of me is grateful that the captain trusted me with something so precious. There is another part of me that now begins to think that perhaps it wasn't Avery the captain cared about, just what Avery is.
feel like
Utah
that's
roll
a-
plus alien. Go on, Rook.
Oh, thanks. Plus alien?
No. Utah's rolling plus alien. You were trying to talk, so I was saying.
Oh, no,
continue to
sorry.
Oh wait, who's rolling
lost my
plus
train-
alien?
I lost my
Utah.
train of thought.
Utah
Oh,
is
not-
the only one rolling. Yeah.
Okay.
9.
Avery, like, it looks like they're wearing a mask, like they have a humanoid bottom of their face, and they look very sad.
You made a choice. I don't remember what you made. I have no idea what I said.
Why are we laughing?
I don't know.
That's a great moment.
Is anyone going to move or do anything after that comment? Because if not, Pulsar definitely is.
The water crab is
I'll
still...
actually like walk closer to Avery as I was talking back to like just lose some distance and just kind of be beside her.
The water
Sorry,
crab is still
beside
pointing to the
them.
dais.
The we,
Yeah.
I forgot, it's a collective.
The water crab is still pointing at the dais, and that's what he's doing when he says, you made a choice. I don't remember what it was.
Does Pulsar do anything?
Yeah, Pulsar's going to walk forward and just kind of push your shoulder, Avery, so that you're facing me. Pulsar's going to lift the mask, just say, what is your name?
My name is Avery.
Jaina, you hear from the temple.
A245J6.
Jaina. And you feel, as you hear the temple say that, almost as if that voice is echoing from inside of you.
Do we all hear it?
Two sides of the same coin. It is not the difference. It's the part of the seam that matters. What side do you want to be called? What do you want to be known as? Cling on to a memory? Or do you want to be what you are now? Avery. You could go either way. Just don't let someone else rob you of that choice.
Choice.
I've had it robbed from me once before. I will not let someone else go through the same. Choice is important.
Avery,
That's-
all...
Makes you human. What makes you organic?
What makes you, you.
What
What makes
makes
you alive.
what makes me, not we?
I will not force you to make a choice. But at the very least, I want you to know that there is a choice. He's gonna let go. Just kind of shake off the emotional moment and pull back down the mask and just kind of walk off.
As he pulls down the mask, Avery lifts hers. And the AI are kind of like they've emulated like a humanoid sort of face. Kind of like blank eyes, and you can see like where like the seams are and everything, and the angel weird mask thing, it lifts up to show her true face. Do I walk towards the dais? Out of character.
I was gonna say, ask the
You're,
little
you're,
bear.
you're in charge. You're in charge of whether you walk toward the dais. I can't tell you.
Ask the baby water bear. They seem to know everything we've done. So it's
I'll walk over to the dais.
All right. Do you stand on the dais?
Utah will call out at this. She's like, hold on. Let's...
The tendrils on the dais are reaching out to you as you come closer.
Harrison's going to reach forward and put his hand on her shoulder and pull her back. Or pull them back.
Well, on the way in, they said that they were trying to preserve these things' memories, and it sounds like if you step on that, you're going full Jaina here. And are we fine with putting a human conscious in this thing? Is that what everybody signed up for?
What
I
the
am
captain
not a
wanted.
thing.
And it's what the captain wanted.
I am fine with their right to choose.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't... wait, hold on. So Cole understands, because Cole's a little slow on the uptake. Going on the dais, I would become Jaina.
The water cub said you made a choice. I don't remember what. And it's been posited that your two choices are Jaina or Avery, although there's also the possibility that both is one of the choices, but you don't know.
Okay, so if I'm playing an RPG and you have to like move to pick, if I want to pick Avery, what does that look like?
The clue I will give you is that the water cub pointed at the dais each time he said something about making a choice. So it's possible you could conclude from that you make a choice regardless if you step on the dais.
Okay.
I promise. Let me say, I promise I will not decide for you based on where you stand what happens with your character.
Okay, that's what. Because I was scared
I
that
would
the cutscene.
never do that to you. No. I would never do that to you.
Like, no, wrong cutscene.
You will always have a choice. I would never force that.
I will walk towards the dais.
All right. The tendrils reach out to you, and as you walk up onto the dais, almost embrace you and pull you in. And roll alien.
$12.
Right. You have a sense of connection to every inch of this structure, and in fact feel it as a living being as well. And you feel the memories and the consciousness of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people fueling it and fueling its life. Like it's symbiotic, like it's both feeding on them and also continuing to keep them alive. And it is embracing you with love, with recognition. There's something about the memories that you hold that it holds particularly precious. And it's letting you know that you can either be all one, all the other, or some of both. While this is happening, and Avery is enveloped and unaware of anything else going on.
Fight time.
I guess.
An AI
Is it too obvious that was my inspiration?
lands a shot on Pulsar. So you take 1 harm, Pulsar. And another one. 7 and lands a shot on Rook. And the third one lands a shot on Utah. Everyone but Harrison takes 1 harm.
Utah will pop that shield, discharge the shield to remove that harm.
Okay. So you all have the option of firing back or of taking a moment to shrug it off.
What sort of distance are they at?
From what you can tell, they're within like that middle range. They're in like a firefight distance.
Oh, so they're not like sniper range.
Mm-mm.
All right, so I'll take a moment to shrug it
You
off.
you could kind of conclude like this structure, it's very hard to snipe from because there's all of these interlocking, like interweaving things. Like you wouldn't be able to get a far view of somebody. So
Right.
it's firefight range.
So glad
I'll
two of us
yeah.
bought sniper rifles.
Yeah, 100%, right? Jesus.
Utah's gonna pull out her mystic weapon and charge whichever one is the closest and just fucking whip that rope dart around and try to hit it.
Okay.
Harrison will lay down covering fire for Utah, just blindly charging.
Now you have the option, Harrison, of taking this turn to recover so that you can shrug off that harm, or you can act.
I didn't take harm.
Oh, that's right. You didn't. So, okay.
Yeah.
So you're helping by doing cover fire. So you'll give Utah advantage on that roll.
Okay.
Oh, hell
And-
yeah.
When you switch an action before they roll, you offer them comfort. Roll plus stalwart, Harrison. Plus stalwart. I can't say starwart. So warty's this star that has a lot of warts on it.
It gave me a lot of
Stalwart?
trouble last night.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah.
11.
11? Okay. So they have advantage going forward. And the next time you take a stress, like you can take a stress, Utah, and not have it count.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, you get a free out of a stress. And you get to fire with advantage.
Okay, that is 12.
12?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. You hit and you have the option of, let me see, where am I? And I did not organize this the way that I thought.
And
That I had.
the mystic weapon is 3 harm.
3 harm.
By the by.
Yeah. So, and you rolled a lot. So see how lethal this can be really, really quickly. You could, if you wanted to, double your damage. Discharge your weapon and deal double its harm. You could, you can keep them away anyway. That's not an issue. But yeah, do you want to double your harm or do you not?
Yeah, let's go ahead and double the harm. Like she
Yeah.
is not happy about this situation whatsoever.
Yeah. Describe your mystic weapon against that chain with the thing.
Yeah, it's basically like it's got like a nunchuck end on one side and then a chain linking to a blade.
Okay.
And so she's just whipping that around and just kind of rakes up the front of this creature, and I guess tears it in half, maybe if it's.
Yeah, I mean, you could. We'll do the how you want to do this thing for this. Like, you can describe how it goes out.
Yeah, she basically slices it from groin to head and just cuts right through.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how quickly lethal it can be in either direction. And Pulsar's not had a turn, yeah? So do you want to take your turn to recover, Pulsar?
No, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna, yeah.
Okay. So
Oh,
you can erase a harm. Rook, do you want to take your return to recover? Actually, if you're recovering, then
Yeah.
you roll plus stalwart, I think.
12.
Yeah, plus stalwart. 12? Okay. You can undo a harm. Yeah, you shrug it off, and so do you, Pulsar. What did you roll?
Just an 8 for me.
Yeah, you shrug it off. Both of you shrug it off. There's more that you could do, but it's not relevant in this situation at the moment. All right, and that is back to their turn.
This is so stressful. I can't do anything.
Oh yes, and actually going to Avery. At that moment, you still hear that whisper, "Choose." And now it's sort of caressing your face in a very loving way. There's no sense of hostility, just choose. And 2 shots, laser shots come past y'all and end up bouncing off of the glass. And it kind of looks really awesome. Like it's like it bounces off the glass and reflects and bounces off the
Like
glass.
laser
Like,
Floyd up in here.
yeah. Like recursive, like reflections of shots. But I rolled 2 6s. So maybe we traded places, y'all. Utah, it's your turn.
Nice. She will go to the next closest one and take another strike.
Okay.
Do I still get advantage, or that's done?
No, that was the one time.
Okay.
Unless Harrison wants to do something to give you advantage. But that would be Harrison's turn.
Hey, well, no, that's a 6.
A 6. Yeah. You have disadvantage on your next shot, I think. No, you just miss. There's no, like, I guess there's adverse You know what happens is you actually hit some of the structure at just the right angle to actually damage a little bit of it. And Avery, you actually feel that. Take 1 harm.
Oh.
Utah's fine with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
hold
she's
on.
not crying over that.
Whatever. Harrison.
Oh my god.
So
Utah liked me.
It's just a little friendly fire, no big deal.
I get like
It has
You have
no
5 hit
emotional connection or repercussions whatsoever.
I'm so baffled by this. So I guess Harrison, firefight, is that the action?
Yeah, you roll plus volatile.
Plus volatile. Okay, so he's gonna just open fire on. Well, yeah, he's gonna open fire on the one of them. It's a 9.
Okay, if that hits, what did you roll with? What weapon?
That would be the assault rifle.
Okay, how much damage does that do? How much
That's 2 harm.
and with the 9, you could discharge it and do double the harm, but then you wouldn't be able to use it next round. Or you can do something to force the enemy out of cover. You could do something to freak it out really bad, basically cause it to be afraid.
What I have to give up.
Or you can also recover for a round because you rolled high enough, but I don't think you need to recover, do you?
No, I don't at the moment. So do I have to give up a harm to
do double damage?
Yeah. No, like any of those. So if I want to like have it knocked out of cover or something like that, or
No, you get that because you rolled high enough. You can just knock it out of cover. So the
Okay.
next person who shoots at it will shoot with advantage.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay. All right. And it is Pulsar's turn.
That is a quick pistol shot. Okay, that one hit. Thank God for that. 7.
7. All right.
Yeah.
The pistol's 1, yeah.
Yeah. It's just
And anything else that you want to do on the list for firefight? Do you want to do
I
double
will go
damage?
ahead. Is there any kind of cover or anything in this general area, or is it just kind of?
There's a ton of columns that you can duck behind.
I'll take evasive action and
Okay.
duck behind one
All
of
right.
those.
All right. And you can recover a harm if you want. All right. Rook.
So I think there's somebody that Harrison just dummied with a shot. So I want to take a shot at that guy with my pistol and like discharge my firearm and try and just
Try to do double. Okay.
try and smoke it.
Take a shot.
And that's volatile, right?
Yeah.
That is 8.
8. So you hit. Are you going to do double?
Yeah, I'm gonna discharge my firearm and just like smoke it. Try
Down
and take
goes
it
the
out.
AI. This is like the exact opposite of the practice combats that we did.
Yeah, wherever
Yeah, we're actually hitting
Reverse.
stuff.
Yeah. Like they were down so quick when we were practicing. Oh my God. This is hilarious. Avery, again, you just hear choose. And you feel Jaina as if she's standing behind you facing the opposite direction. You feel her body behind you.
Both.
You feel as if she's stepping back into you. And you feel her thoughts and her mind and her memories integrating into yours. And now you remember everything that 17-year-old Jaina would have remembered before her death. And you feel that parental love for Captain Ash even more than you ever did, while also feeling the feelings of like, what the hell did you do to me? You have both of those feelings at once. You are both Avery and Jaina.
Like interconnected, not separatable.
Not separatable.
Ooh, okay.
And the tendrils around you open, almost like a flower. And the rest of you see that the structure is starting to open up and move as well, starting to wave almost like plant tendrils. And for now, you're going to have disadvantage on firing because the cover is moving around. Water Cub, by the way, has hidden
Sweet.
behind a column this whole time. I'm not letting Water Cub get shot.
We should
That's a
take them
no.
home.
We
Yeah.
don't need our new little buddy to be killed.
I mean, if you want to take on a mascot, you could try. I'll have you roll for that. All right. And it's now the one remaining AI's turn. And who was it who took the biggest? It's Utah who's been taking the biggest bites. So that's a success. So 2 harm to Utah.
Cool.
All right. And it's Utah's turn.
She's gonna take this, I'm assuming, shot from some type of gun and just charge in at this thing.
Charging in meaning you're trying to get to close range?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
All right, Yuli. Let I have you do quick on your feet. So roll plus slick in order to get there before they're able to dodge out of the way.
Can I do covering fire or anything to...
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and roll lean on me. So plus stalwart.
7?
7. That's still a success. All right. So yeah, how many of you have rolled? It's been like one fail to like all successes on your side this time. So you have advantage on rolling quick on your feet.
Okay. That helped. That's a 7.
7. Okay. And the shotgun does 3, right?
This is my mystic
Oh,
weapon.
this is
okay. I left
yeah.
the shotgun
You're
at
able to
home.
get. You're able to get to him.
Okay.
You're able to get in close range.
Right, so,
After how terribly our test session went, I don't blame you.
yeah.
That's why I added. That's why I had you all pick an extra calamity, because I was like, oh shit, they're gonna die so quick.
Yeah.
Yay, table's turn.
She's coming in with the chain and
Oh,
she's just
how
like
the
whipping
table's
it
gonna
around
turn.
her like body and just kind of making a storm of blades around her as she closes the space to this thing. And I guess 3 harm.
All right.
Or
turn.
I don't know what the options are for 7.
Yeah, that's 3. That's 3 harm. You can double the harm if you want, but you won't be able to. Well, you can double the harm if you want, and then it'll be dead.
I mean, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
It just shot me.
All right. Avery, you walk off the dais into this firefight. Currently, you don't see any more AI around you. If this were D&D, I would say you are out of initiative order.
Which of my crewmates looks the most injured?
I think you all shrugged it off. I think it was like totally one-sided. You smoked them.
It would actually probably
Yeah, I'm totally
be
fine.
Utah.
I think Utah got smoked.
It'll be Utah.
If she just
Everybody
took
else
2 damage right there, yeah, it would be
That's
her.
right. Yeah. So she's bloodied and bruised.
I will go over to Utah and pull out the tactical pack.
You don't need to, because the first 2 levels, it'll heal at the next scene.
Oh, just kidding.
I mean, you can if you want to do, like, you can take time to recover, Utah. Like, you can shrug it off,
Well,
right? So if another combat happens, you'll be down to 0.
if Avery comes over,
Mm-hmm.
she'll try to look into their eyes
Okay.
and see if there's any noticeable difference.
Avery, what does she see?
What color were Jaina's eyes?
Blue.
Doesn't help me because I think mine were already dark blue.
Okay, they were green then.
Okay. They are. There's a more greenish hue to the lighting.
Okay. Well, I mean,
The greenish eyes.
I don't know if Utah would have spent the time to like bother really looking in your eyes, or I guess I'm looking more of
Well, roll plus alien.
if they're picking up a sense of human conscious in there. Plus alien is 9. 7, yeah, 9.
You again, that feeling in your chest, and the subject of the prophecy is in front of you.
She just looks really sad and kind of pats Avery on the shoulder. All right. Are we done
You were
here?
able, the little bear comes. You were able to get out if you left now.
Don't.
Little one said we should get out now. Well, let's get out now.
You're not even a little curious.
Get out alive? No,
That's another 30 seconds.
no. I'm
30
not.
seconds before.
On your lead, Avery.
We should head back to the ship, I think.
Fulfilled our mission. Technically.
Yeah, I think we got to make our way back, and we've extended our stay here enough.
Would I know, given what I was and what I was/am to the collective, now that I've merged with a human conscious, am I not able to do what I was supposed to do?
Roll plus calculating.
8.
You don't feel that you've lost any capabilities.
Phew. Okay. I feel a little better. I was really stressed.
Again, I wouldn't do that to you
Yeah.
without asking you first.
Right. No, I know.
That's it. You don't even have a class anymore. You're just normal.
You're a normaler. It's like commoner, but normaler.
As you leave the structure, as you step off the floor, the light dims. You see that the water bears have left. Yes? What's that?
Before we
Mhm.
would have left that area, could Utah have scooped up a little bit of the glass that broke from her weapon strike?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, she does that.
Okay.
Sorry, I actually wanted to duck in very quickly as well.
Yes,
Sorry.
go for it. No, it's all
Sorry.
right. Always feel free to do that.
Are we going out exactly the same way that we came in?
That's up to you
Like
all.
exactly the way we came in.
I would say yes.
The
Okay.
little water bear said we came out the same way we came in earlier.
So as everyone's leaving, Pulsar's going to hang back. He's going to stop as everyone else is continuing forward. And his head is going to turn towards the wall that everyone saw their memories in. And he's going to attempt to walk forward and attempt to trigger one for himself.
All right, roll plus alien. Unless you want to make an argument for a different stat. Because I could see stalwart.
I mean, yeah, this is he's doing it for a reason. So
Yeah.
But he doesn't really understand what this thing is, so I guess.
Either one. You can take your highest.
It's a 0 or a -1, so it's still going to end up being 7 at least.
That's still a success. And you're behind everyone. No one's looking.
Yeah, that's the
All right.
idea.
What do you see?
Pulsar goes back to the moment that he both simultaneously tries to remember and tries to forget. He's on a world filled with nothing but desert. There is himself standing there, unarmed, simply with just his cloak. And there's another man kneeling down, holding the pistol in his hand. And Pulsar reaches down. He takes the pistol. He peels the mask from the gentleman's face. Just looks him dead in the eyes. He goes forward and just lays a quick peck on his cheek before taking the mask, donning it himself, and pulling the trigger. And as the memory kind of comes outwards, Pulsar just kind of sighs. Worth it to see you again. And then he turns and walks away.
All right. I'm so glad you rolled high. All right. As you leave, the light dims. The water bearers, except for the water cub who was accompanying you, have left. You head back to your ship, your contract with the captain fulfilled, though no expectation of payment beyond what Avery's already gained. What do you say or do with the water cub?
Hop in, stupid, you're coming with us. That's what I want to say.
Do you actually say that?
No. That's what Doug wants to say. He wants to take him. After we left, did you come with us?
Did you ask me?
Did you want to come?
I did. I was able to visit my mom, though, at the temple.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to come.
We wanted you to come too.
I was happy. I had friends.
Friend.
And he accompanies you onto the ship. And I'm going to bring our one shot to an end at this moment.
We can't leave the water bear cub behind. It's so good.
Can Utah break the glass in half, give part of it to Rook? Be like, hey, I know you didn't get to take anything of use down here, but maybe you can figure out something from this.
I think I can make this work. Give me some time. We'll see what we can play with.
And then, yeah, she'll just keep the other piece to try to gleam other things, I suppose.
All right. Anything else that you want to put as a coda or an ending to your character's time in this one shot? No one had a calamity, or I would make you use that as a coda. But that combat went exactly the opposite of what I expected.
It very much was completely the opposite.
So one-sided. I'm so sorry, you guys. Yeah. Anything else?
I want to approach Pulsar. And in my hands, I hold what looks to be a chip or a memory card. And I hold it out for Pulsar. This is something that I locked away. It was something that I felt would get in the way. And I need someone to hold on to it for me. I don't want to lose it. But I can't keep it.
Also takes a look at whatever it is holding. Looks back up. I'll keep it safe.
I know.
Don't you worry.
Thank you, Pulsar.
I look forward to finding out this new Avery. Or maybe the same Avery. We'll see.
I made a choice.
And I'm glad you did.
Thank you.
He kind of goes ahead and stuffs it into a part of his belt. It's kind of like padded over. Nods. There's a very slight hint of a smile as he turns away.
Pulsar's badass. I like Pulsar. Harrison's gonna pull Avery, Jaina, whatever, aside real quick. Jaina, it's good to see you again. I'll try not to fail you again.
Things are a little complicated.
We are Jaina, but we are also still Avery.
The part of you that is Jaina sees his face in the past in a way that you've never seen it before. You see him pulling you away from the danger that you were in, from the corpses of the people around you. You remember it very distinctly.
We remember. I remember. She remembers. Thank you for saving me.
I
Avery's
walk over to Avery just as it's like wrapping up. I feel like I've heard so much about you. It's nice to finally meet you in some sort of ways. And I know it's confusing now, but you're going to be all right.
I know.
You too, Avery.
I trust my crew.
I'm going to let that be the last line because that is a beautiful line. I love it. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Yay.
Woo!
All right.
Jeez, that was awesome.
Thanks for that raid at the
Thank you,
end,
Jen.
Zweihander.
Yay. Right at the end. Oh, hi, Raiders. I love every role player here. Y'all are amazing. To like create those characters and have all of that in like 4 days. Fantastic.
Oh, how long have we been playing it? That's pretty much...
What, to
Hours?
learn a new system, Jen? You knocked it out.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you got
I mean-
it.
That was so good.
I can't wait to play the system again. It's awesome.
I love
Really?
the system. I feel bad that the combat was so one-sided. But I love the system. I definitely think that the system lends itself to the kind of session that we just had. That, has kind of more of that in-character RP sort of feel to it, and that there's still action, but the action doesn't overtake it. Like, it balances it really well.
Mhm.
And I definitely felt like in preparing for the one shot, I had a lot more room to breathe around story because I didn't need to have an hour free for fighting. Right? So
Yeah,
I
and
really liked
I
that.
think the non-initiative actually kind of worked out. I mean, you naturally just fall into one, but it was honestly that saves like 5 minutes of all right, 25 to 20,
Yeah.
20 to 15.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It is much more efficient. That's actually why when I run one-shots in D&D, I don't do initiative order unless it's like a big one. Yeah. Anything else that y'all want to say about the system? Feedback? I know that the developer was watching some of us, and I'm sure would love any feedback. And if you have any direct feedback, let me know, and we can make sure that
And
he
thanks
hears
to
it,
the
but-
developer for the
Yeah.
keys and
Yeah,
stuff. That was
forgive me.
awesome.
Yeah.
Gave a few things away.
Yeah.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out.
let's go ahead and do that final giveaway for the night.
Yeah.
if we can.
I'm throwing out one more, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pick a random name that's been active.
As much as I ended up using Scope It Out, I definitely should have had the questions on hand. I do know that. But, I mean,
Yeah.
that's just something that you will know, once you play the system more than once.
Yeah. There's not so many that you can't kind of learn them pretty quickly.
It's like remembering your feats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But also I think I gave you a good sort of cheat sheet, but I didn't organize it very well. So if there had only been page numbers, that all would have been so much easier.
Next time, we're gonna do this again.
We figured it out, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, go on.
Well, I was going to say, I would be down to play another time. I don't know about you all. I think we
Yes.
kind of built a foundation for something.
Something magical.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, I
I
want
love
to see
that
Cole
cliffhanger.
roleplay 2 people.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Sorry, many and one. It's like some Borg shit up in here. It's awesome.
All right. So, I mean, I guess the last thing I'll say about the system is I really feel like it has heart and soul built into it. And that's part of why, too. It's a good confluence of
I-
good role players and good system. What, Cole?
I really enjoy this system, and I forget the name of another one, but I like when in the game, like prior to starting, you can kind of build those bonds. Like I really enjoyed the hooks and how, I don't know, like building a crew kind of around those. And I felt like they were helpful too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you immediately have something to work off of. And I think from now on when I do one shots, it's going to be a group of people who already know each other, because that also saves a lot of time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
you know?
Whenever I do one shots, it's always people know each other.
Yeah.
So that's easy.
Alrighty, so let's go around and say who you are. Let's see. I don't know, what's one thing you want to see in that character's future? So your name, how to get in touch with you, where you're around, and one thing you want to see in your character's future. And I'll start with Corey.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you can find me on most social medias as Ink and Ignorance, where I do a lot of this stuff. Paint a lot of miniatures. Probably gonna do some live stuff tomorrow. Trying to do a lot more live feeds on Instagram. That's where most of my stuff is. But yeah, you can find me Ink and Ignorance on most socials. About this character, something I want to see progress. I guess probably lean more into the hook. To what he knows and how it could be damaging to everyone. So yeah,
All right.
that'll be it.
Awesome. And Cole?
Hi, bye. I'm Cole. You can find me on Twitter at Cole Moriel. I do lots of art stuff, and I'm here every Tuesday night. And one thing I kind of want for Avery is for them to find themselves and for them to unlock the parts that they've locked away.
Can I just say the moment that you switched from we to I was just inspired. That was great. Yeah. All right, Doug.
Hi. You can find me on Twitter at Doug88, and that's really about it. I'll be back next week with all these wonderful folks. Corey, put that down. Something I'm hoping for good old Harrison. I don't know. Just to probably develop a bit more of the bond with the Avery-Jaina combination. I'll see that.
All right. Cam?
I am Cam. I don't know why I did that.
Because it's 2 a.m. where you are.
No, it's 5
2 a.m. It's 5 a.m. The guy.
Oh, wow.
It's fine.
Dedication.
You'll find me at Bearded Baymax on Twitter, or you'll find me lurking the Featherfall Discord. That's usually where I am these days. Yeah, this was a blast. Good fun. Love all these people. Pulsar.
Oh, so
a
good.
Character that I made and immediately have now fallen in love with. And
Me too. That scene. Oh my god.
I hope at some point he manages to make peace with his husband, and at some point we get to see a little bit more of the bounty hunter side of him, and a little bit that I developed for that kind of thing. That'd be nice.
Oh, we're gonna make it happen. Sorry, Jen's gonna make it happen.
I was like, I love how I just got voluntold just then.
No, community, this is way too good. We can't just like have a one shot. It's gonna go on. This is awesome.
Right,
The
thank you.
trap of one shots.
Literally every single one shot I've played in ever.
Is there any place else that people can see you this week?
Burning
Yeah.
Wheel, perhaps?
I was gonna say,
No, I'm in it. Are you in Burning Wheel?
I am in Burning
Okay,
Wheel.
so they can see both of us in Burning Wheel on Friday. Which
I will be up
one are you
at-
playing? Which one
I
are
will be
you?
up at an obscene time on Friday.
Yes. Which one are you?
I will be the innkeeper.
Ah, that's right. Okay.
I have never played Burning Wheel before. I
Me
have never
neither.
played the system before, so it's going to be an interesting learning experience. I'm hoping for a decent narrative. I like my narratives, so fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And then I will be popping up in a couple of one-shots here, there, and everywhere, and be hosting my own in April. So, yeah.
Yay. Awesome.
Exciting.
Are there applications for that though?
I'm sure I can open up a slot just for you, Cole. That's fine.
I do think we have one shot too that hasn't been filled up. I think it's sometime in May. So anyone who's interested can hop on our Discord and find out too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and we're looking for DMs because I think we want to go up to every week at some point for the one shots because
Pretty close.
They
every
fill up
week
so
now.
fast.
I know.
we fill up
Well,
really
considering-
fast.
We do.
Considering the excitement that was there for Spelljammer, I'm
Yeah.
chatting with
I'm in.
the guys. I'm like, let's
Yeah.
do something just amazingly campy and just go for it. It'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and I mean at this point, like the one shots are sort of developing themselves, but also like we just like if you want to get in a one shot and you show up and they're full, like let us know and we'll make one happen. Like you will get into something for sure. Adam, your turn.
Yes. Damas Lamas on all things social. You can find me here next week. We'll be back with the gods we know. And on the Discord, I'm usually lurking around. Outside of that, I mean, if you're in Los Angeles, we probably won't see each other, but hey, anything's possible. Anything is possible.
It's just a small town.
Just
Like,
a
people
small
pass each
town
other all the time.
with a one stoplight and two horses.
I thought you said Tim Hortons for a minute. I was like, what are those doing out there?
Does not have Tim Hortons.
You're not missing anything special.
No, you're not. You're really not.
Well, I worked with a couple of Canadians and I had to order some Tim Hortons coffee, but that's a tale for another time.
Did they give you the whole like double 4x4s, like the quads, like
Oh, I
double.
did not get it, all of that, but
the whole coffee slang that is up here?
Yep. I'm not even Canadian. I'm just that close to
you're
Canada.
just so close, yeah.
I'm a stone's throw.
He's a spillover Canadian.
What?
Yeah, or, I mean, really. It's like, what, a half an hour drive
Yeah.
to the falls?
Oh yeah, that's nothing. Yeah, you should go over and be like a legal drug mule. Just go get like some,
I go to the falls once a
some
year. We're gonna meet up
insulin,
in
some
days.
like asthma
Wait.
medicine.
And we're online.
Okay, sorry. So what I would like to see in Utah, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to remember what actually came out. I just want to see her story unfold a little bit more. I think there's going to be something a little more with Avery / Janeway, or not Janeway, sorry.
Dana.
Star Trek.
Janeway. Hang on a second.
Wait a second. With Jaina, because she feels a little sad that there's like a human soul trapped in this AI. Yeah. So yeah.
All right. And I am Jen Quixote on Discord, Quixote Jen on Twitter, QUIXOTEJEN, 1N, not 2. And I'm like all over the place on not all over the place. I'm all over Featherfall this week because I have also the Burning Wheel on Friday, and I'm Edmund the Bastard, which is going to be fun. And I have the Western, the Guns of Santorina, on Monday, and then I'm back for the Gods We Know on Tuesday. And I'm really looking forward to finding out what happened with that cliffhanger last week. Yeah.
Hint, hint.
All right. Well, did you guys find a raid?
Yeah, we're just gonna raid We Are Nerdsmith, I think, and we'll toss them some people. So hang tight and go tell them we sent you over there and say hi.
Thank you, everyone, for sticking with
Wonderful.
us.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out and watching us stumble through a new system.
Right?
Yeah.
Stumbled well.
We
Have a
stumbled
good night,
well.
everybody.
Stumbled gracefully.
Good night, all. And we should be clear.
Looks like so.